I think these guys know what's coming to them.
Definitely, because I know one thing I was interested to see last weekend. USC also up there in one of the really good defensive teams in the country. And Stanford seemed like they tried to put a good amount of pressure on the defense, whether it be hitting runs or bunts in certain situations. And, of course, you'd think going against a good defensive team, that's something that, for the most part, they're not really going to struggle with or things like that. So that was something I was interested to see as much as I did last weekend.
Yeah, you always want to play fundamental baseball, though, especially at this level when guys still learning the game, trying to get ready for potential professional careers. You're still trying to get the fundamentals down, and you want to do things by the book, play station-to-station baseball. That's something that Mark Marquis and, of course, Dave Esker, who played under 9, it's something they instill in their guys. And Stanford, traditionally a very good situational baseball team.
Absolutely. Chris Boobage on the mound right now, taking his last few warm-up tosses. Pretty good crowd here in Sunken Diamond on the Friday evening with some more people still filling in. Got to get those last bits of chicken tenders and hot dogs before you find the seats.
Yeah, Jordan, there was a nice little line, and we were down there, 5:15? We had to wait a little bit to get some food.
Absolutely. Had a couple of good, looks like a couple of the local schools, maybe Menlo Atherton, I believe that is, down there in the crimson and gold possibly.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And, of course, a lot of the younger kid groups out here as well over on the lawn with a lot of the rec programs out here in the Palo Alto area. So we're about to get underway here. Kyle Kessler now stepping into the left-handed batter's box. Kyle so far in the year batting .344 with 9 driven in.
He's also walked 10 times. That's what you want out of a leadoff hitter. Get on base. OBP of .445 this year.
First pitch from Boobage is a little low for ball 1. It's on the first pitch today, 6:06.
Scheduled for 6:05, so just a minute off pace.
The 1-0. Low and away in ball 2. With that pitch also as well, I want to wish good luck to anyone out there that is playing HQ.
Yes.
That's underway right now.
Man, I have not gotten more than 6 questions right. What's your best?
I'd say mine's 8.
Okay.
Mine's 8. 2-0 is in there for strike 1.
Well, since you've gotten into that HQ rarefied air, you kind of feel your blood level rise when you're like, all right, I'm only 4 questions away from $5,000.
And the worst part is, with some of these, if you hit one of them and you knew you meant to hit another one, you can't change it, and that gets you going too. That one's fouled back over on the third base side past the stands, and the count's even 2-2.
Yeah, Cumero numero uno is probably just asked. I'm a big fan of Scott Rogowski.
Oh yeah, he definitely has a good control and charisma when he's in charge as the host.
A pretty big baseball fan as well.
The 2-2. Ground ball hit too short. That's going to be an easy one for Horner over to first, and there is out number 1.
Yeah, Horner has just been so steady at shortstop the last couple of years for the Cardinal. He started his collegiate career as a starting second baseman, then moved over to short, and he has been a mainstay there.
And, of course, you're not playing that shortstop position unless you have a very good arm.
Oh, yeah, exactly, and a good glove as well.
Absolutely. Daniel Patzlaff now the batter, batting .214, a senior, 8 driven in 42 at-bats. He takes the first pitch for ball 1. Nice off-speed pitch there from Boobage. Count 1-1. Daniel Patzlaff on the year. He has 6 starts as a designated hitter and also has 1 as a shortstop as well. He does really well with runners in scoring position. Came into the series batting .357 as he swings and misses, and count is 1-2.
Yeah, for a guy hitting that well with runners in scoring position, hitting .214 on the season, I guess you could say he has the clutch gene.
A little Mamba mentality with them, and here's the 1-2 as that's fouled back.
Kobe or LeBron?
Got to be a LeBron for me.
Thank you.
Got to be.
I would have had to take off the headset if you said otherwise.
I think just one, obviously Kobe is a phenomenal player, as that one is roped the other way from Pat Slab. That's a base hit, and it will be cut off as a stumble over there in right field by Stowers, and Pat Slab takes advantage and gets in the second, and Oregon has a runner on with one out.
Yeah, great job by Patslaff there, just going with the pitch. It was over the outer half of the plate. Didn't try to pull it over into left field. Just let kind of the pitch do the work for him. Just put the barrel of the bat on the ball and rode that for a double. Good base running there as well from Patslaff.
And, of course, last week and going into a little bit of last weekend, there was a good bit of amount of rain.
Yeah.
This week has been very clear, so wondering what led to the stumble there. But here's Spencer Steer. That'll be something that we'd have to pay attention to more so as the game goes on, as Steer takes the first pitch for strike one.
Definitely want to get ahead in the count here if you're Boobage. So that was a good first pitch, especially with a runner in scoring position.
279 with 1 homer and 19 driven in on the year for Spencer Steer. He leads the team with 7 multi-RBI games. Boobage looking over to second. Now he'll come home. Fastball inside corner, strike 2.
Yeah, put it in a spot where Steer really couldn't get to it, as Steer was really crowding the plate. Just put it on the inner half, and Steer couldn't adjust.
Yeah, that's one of those pitches, I think, that even if he does take a hack at it, there's not much he can do with it. 0-2 count. Patslaff takes his lead at second. Bo Branton kind of close to second, but not completely covering, as the 0-2 is low end inside for ball 1.
Yeah, definitely not a bad pitch there on 0-2, though. Throw something just a little bit out of the zone. Maybe try to back Steer off the plate a little bit. I mean, he is really hugging home plate.
You know, a lot of times people say depending on where a batter lines up in the batter's box, that's where they're trying to tell you to pitch them.
Yeah.
Especially with that open stance. You think that he's trying to get invited to pitch outside, but Boobage so far really trying to force that inside part of the plate here. The 1-2. That one is low, and it is ball 2. Count 2-2.
Still coming in on him.
Just looking at the flag so far out here in center field, a little bit of a wind going from right to left. Nothing too major. Another beautiful afternoon here in Stanford. Patslaff dances off second. The pitch popped up into the shallow outfield, and Branton calls everybody off and makes the grab. 2 down.
Just what you want there if you're Boobage. You have a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and Oregon unable to advance the runner to third. So you will certainly take that if you're Chris.
Absolutely, and with that, that brings up the sophomore first baseman, Gabe Matthews. Gabe on the year batting a touch under 300 at 299. He has 2 homers. He's driven in 13.
And here's an RBI opportunity. Single to the outfield likely makes this a 1-0 game with the runner going on contact.
2 outs is also a situation Gabe Matthews has thrived in so far on this season. Batting .310 on the year with 2 outs. Patslaff again taking his lead off at second. Nico Horner right behind him. And now he backs off. Here's the pitch. Fastball low and away, 2-0.
Want to be careful here if you're Boobage. Yeah, you're down on the count, but you have a free bag open there at first. Don't want to make a mistake when you don't have to over the middle of the plate or anything like that, and give Matthews a good pitch to hit.
Especially someone, as we've documented already, that likes to hit with 2 outs. 2-0. Off-speed pitch, high and tight, ball 3.
Yeah, walk wouldn't be the worst thing in the world here.
It wouldn't be. On deck, Ray Soderman. Another good average. A lot of people in this Oregon lineup have a good batting average. Soderman at 284 is on deck. Three balls, no strikes. Pat's left the runner on second after his 1-out double. Here's the pitch. Fastball looks like he was taking all the way, and the count's 3-1. So the outfield shaded a little bit to the right field for the left-handed batter. The 3-1. Swing and a miss on a nice off-speed pitch, and the count's full.
Yeah, he got Matthews way out in front of that. Good delivery there from Boobage.
I think he was definitely looking for another fastball there, being back in the count as Boobage was. And like you said, he was way ahead of that one. The count is full. Boobage now back on the rubber. Gets his sign. He's ready. It's a 3-2. Swung and hit foul past the bleachers. And off go the kids to see who can get to that one.
Oh, yeah, that one got hung up in the trees a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone was able to try to snag that off the trees. A little easier catch.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was just going to kind of go straight through the leaves, but hung up there a little bit.
Count 3-2. Pitch from Boobage. Swung on and fouled back again.
I remember when I went to my first softball game here and the ball came into the stands, I raced over to get it, and I was so happy. And then event management said, hey, yeah, we need that. I didn't realize this softball game you couldn't keep the softball.
Yeah, that I think as a kid growing up, whenever a ball was hit into the stands, it's probably one of the fastest times that I ever ran, up till about 14, 15 or so. Actually caught one in arena football one time.
You got an arena football?
I did.
There was a team in Atlanta?
They used to have the Georgia Force.
Oh, okay.
The 3-2. Fastball low and in, and Gabe Matthews with a well-earned walk.
Yeah, fought off a couple of tough pitches, got over to first base. Good battling there by Boobage as well. Almost came back from a 3-0 count. Hey, you mentioned arena football. There weren't many better franchises than the San Jose SaberCats.
Yes, the SaberCats, that's right. One of those teams, I think, that when the Georgia Force first started, that was one of those teams that you just knew.
Yeah, had to circle the SaberCats on your calendar.
Definitely, absolutely.
I still have an Arena Bowl faux ring from their Arena Bowl
nice
championship.
I think the Force made it to one or two of them.
Okay.
They didn't win it. As Ray Soderman now will be the batter, the fifth batter in the lineup.
I promise this is my last Arena Bowl comment for now, but the SaberCats defeated the Arizona Rattlers 52-14 in the Arena Bowl. And, you don't hold anybody under 40 in arena football. So I think they held them scoreless to the first three quarters. It was just a fantastic defensive performance.
I don't think I've ever heard a 14-point scored in an arena football game. That's usually a quarter.
Yeah. Easy.
The 0-1 fouled back to the screen here. Soderman, 8 RBIs on the year. Making his 20th start of the season behind the plate.
Did you ever think about playing arena ball?
I didn't. I think Well, one thing I think, obviously, when the Georgia Force, they stopped being as big as they were, and I think they actually canceled. I just completely forgot about arena football for a while until one day I was channel surfing and saw it up there on the channel listings. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Nice off-speed pitch from Boobage, and he leaves two stranded.
A beautiful breaking ball there. That's how you come back from giving up a walk, quickly get ahead in the count, give them the hook on 0-2, and keep this scoreless going to the bottom of the first.
Yep, when we come right back with you, the Stanford Cardinal will have their first crack at it, going up against Matt Mercer. We'll be right back. Where did the Force play? So the first few years they played in Phillips Arena, and then they moved out to Duluth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Mississippi State got it done.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. By how much?
They won, I think it was like by 10 in overtime.
Oh, man, it went to 0-2?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, 73-63.
All right, we're back. Bottom of the first time for your Safeway starting lineup for the Stanford Cardinal. Leading off and playing center field, the Oregonian Tim Kawa. At second, the catcher Maverick Handley. Moved up to the 2 spot.
You got a Twitter?
Yeah. I think it's at Big 7'5" fella.
The left fielder bats in the 4 hole.
Okay, yeah.
Fifth for
All right, here we go. Welcome back here for the bottom half of the first inning. Chris Boobage got himself into a little bit of trouble in the top half, but was able to get out of it with no damage done. And now he gets to go up against, he gets to root on this offense that, for the most part this year, has been looking very, very good. And it starts right here with Tim Tawa.
Yeah, not a bad freshman season for this guy.
Not at all. And the first pitch, he's swinging and misses. It count 0-1.
Yeah, 329, 3 homers, 19 RBI, slugging 544.
Just, it doesn't look like this college baseball stage is too big for him.
No, certainly not.
Here is the 0-1 from Mercer. Line drive hit the other way, and that is going to be caught on the run by Goldfarb out there. Nice play by him, and there's the first out.
Looked like it was going to get down for a moment, but it just hung up there and allowed Goldfarb to recover and snag that one.
So 2 pitches equals 1 out for Mercer, and now Maverick Handley behind the plate will be the batter. Handley on the year, batting .258. He's got 1 homer. He's driven in 9. Looking for his first hit still of the series. First pitch he takes, a little low, ball 1. Of course, with this great rotation that Stanford has, a lot of that credit has to go to Maverick Handley with the job he does behind the plate. The 1-0 shows bunt, pulls back, but called a strike there by home plate umpire Eric Peterson, and the count is 1-1.
Yeah, catcher, one of the most important positions in the field, if not the most important. So a lot of credit due to number 10.
Absolutely. You almost have to be a coach on the field.
Indeed.
Here's the 1-1. Line drive, well hit to center, but that's going to be right at DeLuca out in center, and that is going to be out number 2. So 2 well-hit balls so far here for Stanford, but nothing showing for it.
Yeah, Towel and Hanley weren't fooled. Hanley just hit it right to DeLuca, though. I'm not sure he had to take a step.
Let's see if Nico Horner can get some good solid contact but find some room here. Batting .309 on the year. 2 homers, 12 driven in.
Here's Nico Horner.
And that one's roped hard, and again, DeLuca not having to move much, and there's out number 3. So 3 well-hit balls here for Stanford, but it goes 3 up, 3 down on 6 pitches there for Matt Mercer. We're done with 1. No score with the top half of the second coming up.
We're back here, top half of the second inning. By Mark, get ready for your season or less. Two up for the Ducks. Goldfarb, Jovan, and Nelson here. Lefty, righty.
All right, here we go. About to start the second inning of action here. And Goldfarb will lead it off for Oregon. Probably, at least so far in this season, one of their guys with the most pop, but also hitting for a very high average at .360. He's got 5 homers and driven in 17 as he takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Yeah, 628 slugging percentage, 434 on base percentage, so his OPS 1,062.
And that's coming from the 6th spot in your lineup.
Yeah.
That's definitely something you'd like to have, and especially as of late, coming into the series, this last 10 games, batting .405 with 10 runs being scored.
Getting his Ted Williams on.
Count 1-1 to him. Here's Boobage from the full. That one fouled back to the backstop. And, of course, anytime there's a ball hit back this way, Kevin and I have no fear because we have Kari Jones back here with us, and we know he'd catch anything that comes up here.
Exactly.
We never talk smack about you, Kari. Never that.
Never.
1-2 count now to Goldfarb. Here's the pitch. Off speed check swing coming in is Jesse Hewitt. Makes a nice play on the run, and there's the first out.
Yeah, strike over to first base there by Hewitt. Yeah, Jordan, I would never mention Kari's slow reflexes or anything like that. I wouldn't give him any smack.
Well, I mean, you can't mention it if it's not there.
Yeah.
Of course, all the times I've seen Kari's hoop game over back when we still had Dalmar Court.
Oh, yeah.
Not much bad stuff you can say about his athleticism, that's for sure.
You're talking about a guy who could have ran track at Cal.
He was just over at the meet today. I wonder if he was giving it give it another go.
Yeah. Sprinter, Guns finest.
Ken Jovan takes the first pitch, ball 1. Batting .250 on the year, the sophomore, 2 driven in. And that one's low and away, 2-0.
Second career start, first, in essence, Friday start against the number 3 team in the country. I like the idea of focusing on it. It paid off.
The 2-0 pitch, off speed, ball 3. We've seen early on here, Boobage definitely getting behind a good bit in these counts.
Yeah, got behind Matthews 3-0. Now behind 3-0 here to Jovan.
Here's the 3-0. Fastball outside corner, tipped all the way. Count 3-1.
And, of course, he took that 3-0 count to Matthews full before eventually walking him.
Here's the 3-1, swung on, and that's laced down the line. It'll stay fair. This looks like it's going to be a double for Jovan as Dashback gets over there and gets it in. And it's a nice double there for Jovan with 1 out.
Yeah, so not a bad weekend thus far for Kenyon Jovan. He strikes out 9 Cardinal hitters last night, gets the win. And his first at bat here tonight, a double down the left field line, stand-up double.
Well, it's like you said, he's not your average mystery DH guy. He really can swing that bat, and he shows it there. And there's a runner in scoring position now. Ryan Nelson, the batter. Batting .213 on the year. No one really holding on Jovan at second, and that one looks like it sounded like it got a piece of him. And
just grazed him. Again, now you have a force out at every base, though. So, again, you had that base open at first. Now, you're not trying to hit him, that's for sure. But now it makes things a little easier for your defense.
And now that will bring up Johnny DeLuca. And I know the batting average, folks, that you see the 202 doesn't show it. This is one of the guys that you do not want to see so far in this year with runners in scoring position. Coming into this series, batting .316 with runners in scoring position.
This guy must be batting like 100 with runners not in scoring position.
They all have the clutch gene on this Oregon team, it seems.
And Skip Bayless would be proud watching these Oregon Ducks.
DeLuca looks very comfortable in his stance. Boobage takes a long look in, and DeLuca's going to call time.
Infield double play depth. They would certainly like a sharply hit ground ball up the middle to either second or short.
Boobage looks second, and he's going to step off. No one there. Lefty on righty matchup here. Of course, people would think that that actually suits the hitter, but the way Boobage has pitched so far this year, there really isn't any side of the plate that works.
Yeah.
First pitch is high, ball 1. You know, Kevin, one thing we talked about earlier here before this game started was how well this Oregon program is really starting to turn around. And it seems like they have a lot of other athletic programs kind of doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to their women's basketball team making it to the Elite Eight. I know Oregon softball just lost today, but they had a 16-game winning streak against their rivals from Oregon State. Oregon softball is always one of the top programs in the nation, a Women's College World Series regular. Those programs really have been on the rise.
Absolutely.
So Oregon men's basketball last year going to the Final Four.
And then they have one of the top recruiting classes coming in next year, headlined by Ball from coming in from high school. I believe he's the number 4 recruit coming in, the highest recruit they've ever had coming into Oregon for basketball.
Of course, Oregon football has made a lot of headlines over the years. Of course, I'm sure your favorite memory of Oregon football is a fall night up there in 2012.
Oh, man, what a game that was. 2-1 count to DeLuca. Here's the pitch. Swung and hit it back foul, and the count is even.
I still get chills thinking about that game.
It's crazy to see Zach Ertz with the game-winning Super Bowl touchdown.
Yep.
And, of course, if we're talking about that Oregon game, he had one very impressive one in the back of the end zone there as well, too.
Yeah, and both had a little bit of controversy around them.
There was no controversy at all.
It was certainly a catch both ways. I'd rule him, but
as that one's fouled back on the 2-2 offering.
I want to say, and I'm not looking this up at all, but wasn't Zach's catch in Oregon originally ruled incomplete and they overturned it? Or
I want to say that might be correct.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to go back and check it, but I remember there being some sort of review.
I do remember the review. Actually, I want to say they might have called it on the field.
Okay.
But then because it took so long,
Yeah.
it's like, uh-oh, they might overturn this.
Yeah.
The 2-2. Inside pitch, he fought it off and stays alive.
To me, the play of that game was Shane Scove tackling Marcus Mariota. What might have been a 60-yard run, but looked like it was going to be a touchdown.
Absolutely.
And then stopped him. I want to say stopped him on 4th and goal or 4th and inches on that drive.
There's so many big plays all over in that game that you could count to. And then of course Jordan Williamson walking it off at the end in overtime.
How about that redemption story?
The 2-2. Off speed, and that one bent inside, and the count will be full. 1 out, runners on 1st and 2nd. Both teams still looking for their first run of this game.
It's been a long at bat.
And DeLuca's done a good job fighting off some tough pitches, taking some others. And DeLuca loves hitting with runners in scoring positions. Here's the playoff. Runners going, and that one's hit well down the left field line. Coming in is Dashbach. He'll make the grab, and the runners will have to go back. And there is out number 2.
Yeah, that's just a good old battle there, but you can't have too many more of those if you're Chris Boobage. I mean, you got to wonder how long he can go. 44 pitches already. Not even through 2 innings.
And one thing we mentioned, a lot of these high ball counts getting behind batters early on. And, of course, early on that might not seem like much, but it can definitely take its toll as the game goes on. We're back to the top of the lineup. Kyle Kasser will be the batter, grounded out to the shortstop his first time up last inning. So his batting average took a huge hit. He's down only to 340 now. As his first pitch swinging the other way. Dashbach's going to play it off the hop, but it bounced off his chest, and that's going to bring a runner in. And Kasser dives back in the first, and Oregon is going to jump ahead early with a 1-0 lead.
Now, that would have been interesting if Dashbach was able to play that one cleanly. I'm not sure Jovan would have gone home. That was sharply hit, one hop. It would have been, at the very least, a close play at the plate. Might have even been no play at the plate.
Right, very close, very shallow. And, of course, with that tough hop. And now Patslaff will be up, and there is a runner. Runners are on the corners.
I think they are going to give an air to Dashbach. They haven't put it up yet.
I haven't seen it. I mean, that's like they gave him the air.
Yep.
And that's a tough break. That's a tough hop that took. As the first pitch in the Patslav is in for a strike.
Well, you can protect Bubage's ERA a little bit, though, by giving that air. If he gets Patslav out, then that would be an unearned run because without the air, he'd you're assuming he is at third base, Jovan.
Kasser again on first. 6 of 7 on the year in stolen base attempts. And there's a breaking ball pitch inside, and the count is 1-1.
Yeah, that's 47 pitches now.
And again, still only in the second inning.
Yeah.
Boobage takes a breath, looks to first. Here's the pitch. That one a bit high. 2-1.
Well, you knew the staff couldn't have an ERA of 196 for the entire regular season.
Really, I thought that was a realistic goal for them.
I mean, Chris Boobage isn't going to be a 119 pitcher through June.
Almost Clayton Kershaw-like
Yeah.
numbers. The 2-1. That one's ripped. Dashback coming in, and he'll make the grab. So Oregon gets 2 hits. They scored 1 run, and they left 2 on. We will go to the bottom half of the second. Let's see if Stanford can answer as they trail 1-0. We'll be right back. Ready?
Yep.
Welcome back here for the bottom half of the second. Andrew Doshbach, the cleanup hitter in the Stanford lineup, will lead us off. Had a lot of activity out there in the top half of the second inning in left field.
I mean, a nice grab there after committing the error on the single that allowed Oregon to score.
Tough error to give. And first pitch low and away, ball 1.
Not the easiest play to make. You're coming in on a short hop to you, a hard hit line drive. It's still one you'd like to have back if you're Andrew.
The 1-0. Swing on and fouled back.
Well, Jordan, let's see if Stanford can make Mercer work here a little bit. I mean, just 6 pitches in the first inning. That was a long second for Boobage. Be nice to have him get a little bit of a rest before heading to the top of the third.
And I think that's probably the biggest thing here. I know a lot of times in football, whether you have an offense or defense, a defense that's been on the field for a long time, you hope the offense can get a long drive going to get them a little break. As that one just a bit low and in, the count now 2-1. Yeah, Chris Boobage with already around 50 pitches. To give him a little break here.
Yeah, you'd like to be at that total through 4 innings, not 2.
Here's the pitch from Mercer. Wish you could get a whole short story in during his delivery. The count now 3-1. Has a couple of pauses there.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you were able to make a tuna sandwich.
And that includes going and get the boat, catch the tuna, carve it up the way you need to, add the mayonnaise.
Gotta have the mayonnaise.
Absolutely. count now 3-2. Dashbuck on the year, 279. It's 4 home runs, 19 driven in. Has an open stance. And here's the payoff pitch. Fastball outside and ball 4. First base runner of the day for Stanford.
It's almost like Dashbach knew that pitch was close and he wanted to make up the mind for Eric Peterson at home plate. Like, you're calling this ball 4 because I'm already halfway down first base.
And sometimes, of course, you have some umpires
Yeah.
that doesn't work out. They take that as you standing them up.
Exactly.
But with that pitch, there was definitely no contest about it. And now Kyle Stowers is the batter. 261 on the year. Making his 22nd start.
Yeah, so he started every game.
And that one's roped. Nice play over there at first as they'll go to second. Back over to first. And a double play. Nice job over there by Gabe Matthews to pick that one up and go to second.
The old 3-6-3 double play. You don't see that a whole lot, but what glove work there by Matthews. Short hop, quick turn of the double play.
And, of course, one thing you think of, even when you make that play, a lot of first basemen, they'll try to go ahead and get that out at first before they fire over to second and get the tag out. But good job, good awareness there to go to second with it. And now Will Matheson is up. Second start on the season for Will Matheson. He's appeared in 5 other games. In 8 at-bats, he has 4 hits, an average of 500.
Well, if you keep that going, you're doing a pretty good job at the plate.
Just one of the 2 Wesleyan guys on the team, along with Tim Tawa, as that one's fouled back. Count 0-2. You got to wonder what games like this or against Oregon State later in the season, what they mean for these guys that come from Oregon.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you grow up watching these programs, and maybe not Oregon as much. Well, I guess Oregon program came back when they were like 9 or 10. But, yeah, these are programs you looked up to as a kid. So certainly a little something extra on these games, and especially growing up in a state of Oregon where there is not Major League Baseball. There's no team in Portland. So you got your minor league teams, and you got Oregon and Oregon State. And, of course, the success that Oregon State has had over the years, certainly something you look up to.
And, boy, do they look good to start this year off.
Ooh, #1 team in the country. Actually lost last night to Utah.
Off-speed pitch, Matheson, that's going over to Nelson, over to first. It's another effective, not your usual 1-2-3 inning for Matt Mercer, but still 1-2-3 nonetheless. We will go to the top of the 3rd. Oregon with the 1-0 lead. So you're taking this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It was hit so hard I wasn't ready.
How the Bravos doing?
3-3. I think they're going to the 7th.
Okay. All right. There you go. Nice little,
Hey, Kari. We just hyped you up, man. We just hyped you up. Yeah.
What's up, Doe? Welcome back to Sunken Diamond, folks. Kevin Dana alongside Jordan Watkins as it's 1-0 Oregon, top of the 3rd. Spencer Steer in the batter's box. for the Ducks. And he takes strike one from Boobage, who has really had to work 49 pitches through 2 innings.
That's a good thing, though, especially with that pitch count the way it is. You see him right now being aggressive as this one's fouled over. Will there be enough room? There will be.
A nice grab there for the Stanford Cardinal, as at first base was Bruiser. So that makes it one down in the top of the third, and that will bring up Gabe Matthews, who last time up walked with a runner on second and 2 down in the first.
And that's exactly what you want to see. 2 pitches equals 1 out for Boobage. Definitely a good sign.
Yes, sir. You want a quick inning here. And if you're Boobage, try to prolong this outing as long as possible. And so far, you'll take it just 1 unearned run. He's given up 3 hits, a couple of doubles. Struck out 1. 1-0 the count to Matthews. That one high and tight. Boobage went to Archbishop Mitty, who is also a recognized football player, all WCAL talent as a kicker. And now a pitcher here for the Cardinal, as he has become a reliable weekend starter over the last couple of years. There's strike 1. 2-1 the count.
Of course, tough to mention Stanford baseball without mentioning a lot of the crossover success that they've had here on the college level with football and baseball.
Just high, of course, Tyler Gaffney, John Elway going way back in the day,
Zach
Toby
Hoffpower.
Gerhardt, Hoffpower, a teammate of yours. 3-1. This one a chopped foul, so the count is full. So I take it there was a pretty good baseball culture in the Stanford football locker room.
I know, at least with Hoff and I, that's one thing we would talk about all the time. We would, it was funny, he would always get into debates, we still do actually, about who the greatest Brave of all time is.
Okay. And your answer to that as it's ball 4?
No hesitation, Hank Aaron.
Oh, well, yeah.
No
yeah,
hesitation.
Of course. Home run king. Well,
there you go. No, you had it right. Home run king.
You better watch that talk here in the Bay Area. You're gonna have some Barry Bonds truthers on your back.
I'll go over to the East Bay then and say it. I'll be with the A's guys.
Yeah, don't say that to Kari Jones.
Oh, I say it to Kari all the time. He knows.
So what was Hoffpower's answer?
He was a Chipper Jones guy. And as we talked before, obviously Chipper was the guy growing up for me. But Hank Aaron, the things that he did.
Runner goes, and he's out. Nice throw from Hanley, and Matthews caught stealing.
So that throw had him by a long shot. It was a little high, but still because it beat him by so much, plenty of time there for Nico Horner to make the grab and get the tag down.
Yeah, just a bad jump by Matthews there, and not exactly the pitch you want to go on. So 2 for 3 and stolen base attempts now for Matthews, and nobody on, 2 down. No, I'm sorry, you're talking about Chipper Jones is the potential greatest Brave of all time from Hoffpower's view.
And, I mean, of course, what he did, starting with that, of course, that World Series team in '95 and everything else he did from there, a Brave lifer, MVP, always going to bat 300, get you 20, 25 homers. But Hank Aaron, I mean, what hasn't been said about him? Obviously, we all know what he did with the home runs, but it's also how he did it. He never really hit like a 50-homer season, or
just consistent.
Everything was just consistent. He's he leads all of baseball, I think, still in career bases, RBIs.
Line down the right field line, just foul.
Thank goodness that had some slice on it.
Yeah, that could have been extra bases. Probably would have been if it lined fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was also, still, back when Hank Aaron was playing, baseball had been integrated, but it wasn't like it was exactly a welcoming time.
Of course.
Back then. So he was still blazing trails.
A lot of times he would talk about, when he was chasing Babe Ruth in 714, about all the different hate mail he'd get and death threats.
1-2 is low.
And it's just the way that he handled that, and, of course, other players around then and before him handled it as well. It's one of those things. I don't know how they did it, but obviously I'm thankful that they did.
Yeah. The 2-2 to Ray Soderman. Swung on for strike 3. Second strikeout for Soderman, second strikeout for Boobage. We go to the bottom of the third. Cardinal trailing 1-0 here on GoStanford.com. Bottom third of the order here for the Cardinal. 7-8-9 due up for Stanford, trailing 1-0 as Nick Bruiser will step in. 1 for 8 on the season for the freshman from Chandler, Arizona. Same hometown as Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Hundley. Here's the first pitch, and it's fouled off to the Stanford dugout. Having a great year under first-year head coach Dave Esker, replacing the legendary Mark Marquis after his 41 years as the head coach here on the farm.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, 41 years. 0-1 coming from Mercer, who's yet to give up a hit. Just one walk. Fastball missing high there. And you think about coaches that have been in one place for so long. Alongside Mark Marquis, of course, Mike Krzyzewski at Duke is one that comes to mind. Dean Smith back in the day at North Carolina. Here in the Pac-12, Al Skates, longtime volleyball coach at UCLA. So this one's hit back up the middle. This is going to be a tough play to make it short, and Nelson unable to cleanly transfer that one from his glove to his hand. I'd venture to guess that would be a hit.
That has to be.
And, yeah.
And, Kevin, I'm glad that you brought up that Mercer hadn't allowed a hit so far, because I was wondering, as an announcer, we have magical powers, which everyone likes to talk about. So, how is it ever too early or too late to mention someone has a no-hitter? Because, obviously, if I could, I'd say it as soon as the first pitch is thrown.
So here's my take on that. Now, I'm not a pure baseball guy through and through. Basketball is kind of more where I make my hay in the broadcasting game. But all these superstitions in baseball kind of drive me a little crazy. That you can't mention a no-hitter like – that's the story. If a guy has a no-no through 6 innings and you're not talking about it just because you're afraid some other people in the press box are going to be like, oh, you ruined it. Come on. You got to do your job.
Of course, but, I think of all the things, because I know you talked about baseball, baseball is definitely full of superstitions.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things. It always seems to carry over to other sports, whether you have to go on the free throw line.
Yeah.
Oh, he's shooting 90%. You know he's going to miss the next
Yeah,
one.
see, I don't buy into that. It's up to the athlete to make the foul shot or to complete the no-hitter. The athlete is not listening to my broadcast.
I don't know. I thought I saw you doing a little magic chant there before that last hit.
Base it. Here's Bo Branton. He's 8 for 25 on the season, hitting 320. Runner goes. Throw to second. Not in time.
Ooh.
That was close. But Bruiser is in safely with the stolen base. And now a runner on second with nobody out for the Cardinal.
I tell you what, that was very close. Looked like his hand just got in there before the tag of Ryan Nelson. Because even Nelson, I think you saw there from his reaction, thought he had him.
Yeah, that was a close play. But, one of those bang-bang plays, and tie certainly goes to the runner. Not saying that was a tie there, but that was the first steal of the season and first steal of the collegiate career of one Nick Bruiser. As Branton now has a runner in scoring position. He has driven in 2 this year. So the count 2-1 to Branton as the Cardinal coming off a 10-1 loss to the Quacks last night. Trying to get on the board here in the early going.
Yeah, Bo Branton, you'd like to see that 320 batting average from the 8th spot and kind of get a little juice going there from the bottom part of the lineup while you have the other guys coming around with Tim Tawa and company and a couple of batters.
Drill that one foul.
How did he turn on that one?
Yeah, that was right in his wheelhouse. That right by the third base coach Tommy Nicholson. Count even at 2. Runner on second, nobody out. That's Bruiser over there, 180 feet from home plate. Mercer comes home. That's low. Count is full.
One thing I've thought about for a while here, of all the Oregon events that I've seen, I think these are the most plain uniforms I've ever seen.
I know,
from
right?
Oregon.
Yeah. I mean, of course, football made all the headlines with the highlighter helmets, but you have the men's basketball Fighting Ducks uniforms. The softball jerseys certainly have some flair to them. I can't tell you too much about their acrobatics and tumbling get-up, as that goes a little bit foul, but yeah, no, certainly Phil Knight wants to make sure his athletes look good.
And, of course, even in Matthew Knight Arena, how they have that court set up.
Deep in the woods.
Deep in the woods. There you go.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on the Oregon highlighter football jerseys?
It seems to be that's what's hot right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Baylor does something like that with basketball.
Yep.
Michigan, when they were with Adidas, they had basketball unis like that as well. And there you go.
Hit right up the middle. Line shot into center field. And coming home, Bruiser, no throw to home plate. RBI single for Bo Branton. Ties it up.
See what happens when you mention someone hasn't given up a hit?
I take no credit. Now, maybe on the Jordan Watkins broadcast half of this, when you take it over in the later innings, maybe you could work some juju, but I know I don't have any in my blood and veins. And
I don't know.
I swear, if I ever do a broadcast here and the guy has like a no-hitter into the 5th, I'm going to announce it to the whole press box just to see if I can get someone upset at me.
Because, see, if I were an analytics guy right now, I'd definitely say, well, when Jordan Watkins is doing the play-by-play, Oregon is outscoring Stanford 1-0. But when Kevin Donna is doing play-by-play.
Hey, don't tell Dave Esker that stat. He might not have you in the booth anymore.
I don't know, because it worked out last weekend. I called the SC game.
That's true. Hewitt trying to lay down a bunt, foul down the third baseline. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, the sabermetrics on this, Stanford is 1-0 when Jordan Watkins calls a baseball game.
There you go.
There it is. Trying to make it 2-0 tonight. As they say in football, you're just trying to go 1-0 every week.
There you go.
And 1-0 every broadcast.
1-0 every broadcast, 1-0 every game. Of course, more chance to do that in baseball. which I think is actually awesome. I know a lot of times in football, if you had a tough loss, you have to think about it. Technically, for that whole week, you can't wait to get out there next week to avenge it. Baseball, a lot of times, you have one the next day.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Now, I can't imagine you playing a 3-game football series Friday,
goodness.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I think people would die at the end of that. What's your favorite football cliche?
Favorite football cliche?
I got a couple.
I want to hear these.
All right, well, my first, by far, in a way, number one, doing your 111th. That is my favorite.
Okay.
I love that one. Then 1-0 every week. I use that one all the time. Hewitt skying one to left, and, well, Pat's lap barely has to move. Comes in a couple of steps, and there's the first out of the third. All right, your turn to share.
I think it'd definitely have to be the whole idea of 110%.
Okay. Yeah.
Like where did that extra 10%? Where does it come from?
It's somewhere in Shannon Turley's weight room.
I guess so.
I mean, yeah. No, that doesn't make mathematical sense.
I've always wondered is like that extra. Maybe this is why I think broadcasters might have a little magic with them. That extra 10% comes from the booth.
Okay. Tim Tawa he's 0 for 1 today. Pitch out. They're going to throw back to first as Brand was kind of stumbling over there. He gets back safely.
That was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Next man up.
Next man up.
I like that one. Yeah, they have those whole National Signing Day bingo cards, or they have one square for he was a natural fit for the program, good kid, good in the classroom, good off the field. We're emphasizing speed in this class. We want to put a fence around our state. That's another one of my favorite. If we're in-state recruiting.
One of my favorites, sneaky athleticism.
Yes. Exactly. Help for all those slot receivers out there.
Mm-hmm. The ones that eventually, they'll end on the Patriots.
Yes. I imagine they're your second favorite team after Super Bowl 51.
Next question.
1-1 the count to Tawa. So Mercer, he's having to work a little bit here this inning. First 2 innings pretty quick. 3 up, 3 down. Not the case here. Mercer had 6 pitches in the first inning. He's up to 30 now through 2.1.
Of course, we mentioned before this inning how great that would be for Chris Boobage, and now especially Stanford has a run on the board with only 1 out and the top of the lineup up. There's potential to get some more here. Be interesting to see if they can get a lead here and then have Boobage come back out in the top of the 4th.
That would certainly be the goal, and get that shutdown inning. There's kind of a baseball cliche for you that they always talk about. Once you put a crooked number up there, get a shutdown inning, meaning not allowing a run on the next bottom half.
Mm-hmm.
Count 1-2 to Tawa as he fouls one off at the plate. Tawa, a guy from Westland, Oregon. You were talking about that earlier, the Oregon Gatorade Player of the Year. Also a 3-time Gatorade Football Player of the Year. So he was an accomplished quarterback, set the state record for career touchdown passes and passing yards in a season and a career.
How about that?
Surprised Mark Helfrich and then Willie Taggart and now Mario Cristobal didn't take a closer look at him. On baseball, his numero uno as he swings and misses, and he is down on strikes. First strikeout for Mercer. I'll bring up Maverick Hanley. So runner on first, 2 down here for the Stanford catcher. Last time up, he lined out to center, and DeLuca barely had to move. Hanley.
One of 3 guys, I mean to cut you off there, but in that first inning that they had some good contact, but a lot of times people hear of atom balls and things of that nature. They just didn't find a place to land.
Yeah. Certainly well hit by Maverick, the Lakewood, Colorado native, as he takes one on the inside half for strike 1. Thanks for joining us on GoStanford.com. Kevin Dan alongside Jordan Watkins and Kari Jones in the booth. Rob DeSandre, part of our production team over on the first base cam. Count is 0-1 to Hanley. Low and away. Approaching dusk here at Sunken Diamond. Really just a great place to watch a baseball game. Picturesque field here.
Especially as of late, this last week or so, it's warming up, finally feeling like spring.
Yeah. It was 83 on my drive up here.
I sat by the pool the other day in my apartment for the first time.
There you go. Runner going, and Brandon is going to be thrown out. Nice throw on a hop there from Soderman behind home plate. So a runner thrown out in the top half of the third, a runner thrown out in the bottom half, and Hanley will stay in the batter's box when the bottom of the fourth comes around. But first, we will send it to the break. Oregon coming up in the top of the fourth, tied at 1. Top of the fourth to you here at Sunken Diamond, Stanford and Oregon. Second game of a 3-game series. It'll be Goldfarb, Jovan, and Nelson due up 6-7-8 for the Ducks in the top of the fourth. Boobage coming home to Goldfarb. Curveball gets over the outer half for strike one, and Boobage coming into this inning, 64 pitches. Bullpen still silent over there on the Stanford side as this one is skied to left. Dashbach moving over a little bit towards the foul line, and he's able to make the grab for the first out. So Goldfarb down on the flyout. And so Jovan will come up. Jovan, a double, and he scored on the RBI single from Kasser in the second. That gave Oregon a momentary 1-0 lead. Then Bo Brandon answered back with an RBI single in the bottom of the third. Might be wondering why this is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Well, Easter is on Sunday, so it is a Pac-12 baseball holiday as Jovan takes a fastball for strike one outside Black. And Oregon will be celebrating Easter here in the Bay Area because they are at USF over on the Hilltop on Monday.
I believe they are finishing up a series. Well, they played them, was it last week too, I believe?
Yes, they did. Lost to the Dons at home. Swing and a miss for Jovan.
Tell you what, San Francisco Dons football program been undefeated for quite some years now.
Ooh, same with Santa Clara. Undefeated since 1990-something or whenever the program discontinued. But yeah, you had St. Mary, Santa Clara, USF, Pacific all had football programs. Unfortunately, they have gone to the wayside. And it's really kind of limited college football in the Bay Area to just three teams. I mean, you got UC Davis and Sacramento State there at the FCS level, and probably shouldn't mention UC Davis football to some of the Stanford football players who played here in the mid-2000s. And have kept Stanford out of a bowl game one year. But as that pitch goes a little outside, but would be nice to see some more programs around the Bay Area for college football.
Definitely, and I hope, and I know this is on a different level, but you see what happened with UAB.
Yeah.
The program went away, and now all of a sudden they come back, they make a bowl game, they're about to get a new stadium. And just the way it seems like the community is kind of gathering around that team is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, even though obviously out here football, the programs have been away much longer, but it definitely would be something awesome to see, to have some more big-time programs up here.
You always like to see sports expand with more teams. Any sport, no matter what it is. Water polo, wrestling, football, basketball. The more programs at the D1 level, the better. Fastball is low, count 3-2. You mentioned UAB, my favorite player on that team. I'm not sure if he's still there, but DJ Law, running back. If you watch Last Chance U.
That's right.
Oh, I was a big fan of his game. I will say my favorite part of that series, you watch Last Chance U?
Absolutely.
And I've only seen the first season. Here comes the payoff pitch. Strike three. Yovan down on strikes. Third K, all forward for the lefty Boobage. But my favorite part of that series was watching guys skip class. I don't know, but I got a kick out of it. Just watching them go into what was her name?
Miss Wagner.
Miss Wagner, and just talking about how they didn't want to do schoolwork, or, hey, Miss Wagner saying, hey, don't you have class now? I was like, yeah, well, I'm not going, or seeing guys just walk around the quad when they're supposed to be in class. I got a kick out of it every time. I didn't know watching guys play hooky could be that interesting. Ryan Nelson takes ball one. Who's your favorite player from Last Chance U?
My favorite player. I can't remember what his name was, but he was a defensive lineman at McNeese State now.
Was it Ollie?
Yeah, it was Ronald Ollie. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Rolled over to first. Easy play there for Bruiser, and that was a quick inning for Chris Boobage. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. We head to the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-1. More Last Chance U stories after this on GoStanford.com. Welcome back to Stanford University. 1-1 heading to the bottom of the fourth. It is 2-3-4 to a Maverick Hanley back in there as Bo Branton was caught stealing, trying to take second off Matt Mercer as we get ready for the bottom of the fourth. Kevin down alongside Jordan Watkins. Here comes the first pitch of the at-bat to Hanley, who is 0 for 1. It is high, fastball, 1-0. And Jordan, you and I were talking about the expansion of programs on the football side. One big welcome to Pac-12 baseball was this Oregon team. They discontinued their program in the early 80s, brought it back in 2009, and it was only a couple of years after that they found themselves in a super regional, made regionals their second year back as a program. And so it's really the Pac-11 in baseball, just Colorado missing. But it's certainly good to see this Oregon program back on the baseball side.
Tell you what, wouldn't you like to see the ball jump down in Boulder?
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, a launching pad there.
I'll tell you what. I mean, you see how it is at Coors Field, and as huge as that stadium is, because the air's so thin up there, it still travels a lot. I tell you what, that'd be some fun series to go see.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the plans are for a potential Colorado baseball team. It's certainly something to look at. Hit right back to Mercer. Nice grab. Glove between the legs. Tosses over to first for the easy out. Over to Matthews there at first. So one away in the fourth. Take a look at some scores from around the Pac-12 on the baseball side. Washington State walked off last night against Arizona State. They are tied heading into the ninth. How about this one? Utah up 5-2 on the top-ranked Beavers after taking a game 8-7 from Oregon State last night. Utah just got off to a horrendous start this season. Bunted foul. They are 3-17 in non-conference games. Now, a big reason why Bill Kinnenberg, the head coach of Utah, had to miss the first 14 games of the season for an NCAA rules infraction. Had a coach who was coaching who shouldn't have been coaching during practice, so he had to be suspended for 14 games. But since he's come back, the Utes have kind of found their footing. USC and Washington tied at 2 in the top of the fourth, and Cal leading UCLA 1-0 heading into the fifth.
How about Utah?
Yeah. They were the story of college baseball 2 years ago. They went from last place in 2015 and finishing in last in every year in the Pac-12 in their first 4 seasons to first. And as this one's going to be chopped foul for Horner, the count is 0-1. Make it 1-2, excuse me. I'm looking at what Horner is at the plate, 0-1. But Utah had finished last, and with Pac-12 not having a baseball tournament, they won the conference outright in the regular season. Came down to a last weekend in a series against Washington. They were the two teams who were picked. I think Washington was picked to finish 9th that year. Utah was picked to finish last, and they were fighting for first place last week, and Utah won it and won a couple of games in the regional. But, they're and then last year they went around 500 in conference play, and now looking at a potential 3-2 start to Pac-12 play. Horner hits sharply to short, right to Nelson, takes his time. Throw just in time. You don't know, Jordan?
I'm with Nico Horner on this one.
That was a close play. You thought his foot got there in time.
I think so, and that's what it looks like Esker's got to go have a conversation with right now over there at first base with Travis Renninger.
Yeah, Esker out there wearing the number 8. Of course, number 9 taken. Well, yeah, having a long chat there with the first base umpire.
Yeah, I mean, Horner's a good runner, and it seemed like Ryan Nelson wasn't the most aggressive with that ground ball. It wasn't a very sharply hit ground ball. And, of course, Nico Horner, when they said he was out, took the helmet off and discussed there. I tend to agree with him.
So that'll bring up Andrew Dashbach, who walked in the second to lead off the second, then was taken off the base paths with a 3.63 double play, mind you. So he's still hitting 279 this year. Fastball taken for strike one, outer half of the plate. Stanford in their cardinal red uniforms, some nice threads, and Oregon in the, what Jordan would term, plain grays. Certainly not as snazzed up as some other Oregon uniforms. Fouled off over the Stanford dugout, quickly 0-2.
Yeah, and I was even up here earlier, and I was looking at Todd Miles. We got to meet him. He's the play-by-play guy working for Oregon, and even on his shoes, they're a little custom-made on the back with the logo on it and everything.
Oh, yeah. I will say I would like to get some Oregon gear.
I can't touch it.
Hey, I know you have the football rivalry. I do not. I can look past the logo. I'll put it like that. If it looks clean, I'm with it.
We'll just get you some Oregon-colored Nike gear, but not have the logo on it.
We'll
compromise.
There it is. Here's the 1-2. Dashbach down on strike. Second strikeout for Mercer. A 1-2-3 fourth for Mercer. And we will go to the fifth after this. You're watching Stanford Baseball. Go Stanford.com. We move to the fifth. Still 1-1 after a couple of quick innings on the mound for both Boobage and Mercer. So Johnny DeLuca will get us started here in the fifth. 9-1-2 due up for the Ducks. DeLuca 0 for 1, skied over the press box and out of play. And kind of a running theme here on GoStanford.com, or a running pondering question: will a baseball ever get into the press box off a foul ball? Not sure the geometry could work. It would have to take a very specially hit ball.
Even if it does, I know Kari has us.
Said with the most sincerity. 0-2 the count to DeLuca. DeLuca out of Agora Hills in Southern California is a top 30 prospect in the state of California coming out of high school. High chopper hit softly to Boobage. The turn and throw to first in time. So DeLuca out. He's 0 for 2. That'll bring up Kyle Kasser.
Definitely seen Chris Boobage settle in here after those first 2 innings. And it's a good thing to see. I think having that run on the board definitely helped a bit. And now, of course, going through this lineup here for the third time. Let's see how this plays out.
Busy evening on the farm. Of course, Stanford baseball going to work against Oregon. Stanford softball taking on top-ranked Washington right now. That is scoreless in the second. The Dogs winning 8-1 last night. Swing and a miss.
Nice off-speed pitch.
Certainly had Kasser guessing there in the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Kasser, an RBI single in the second. Ground out to lead off the first. He is 1 for 2, hitting .347. Drove in his 9th run of the season there in that second inning. Swing and a miss. Another nice off-speed pitch. The off-speed stuff certainly working right now for Boobage.
Absolutely, and you look up, he's up 0-2 right now on this count. I think as of late, more of these at-bats, he's had better success of getting ahead of batters. That was one thing those first 2 innings when he had a high pitch count.
Softly lined to third, easy play for Hewitt, and quickly 2 away. So Had a long couple of first innings for Boobage, and he has really settled down. Mentioned he was at around 49 pitches after 2 innings. He's at 81 right now, so he has certainly become more efficient as the night has wore on. You know, just 3 hits and 2 walks for a guy who's thrown 81 pitches through 4.2.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of that, though, I think, even with the walks, because you saw a lot of long at-bats where the Oregon hitters are fighting off a lot of tough pitches that he was throwing. And even with some of the outs that he's made, they were deep counts, going, 2, 3 balls, what have you. And so after a while, all of those have really just tallied up.
Yep. 0-1 to Daniel Patzlav, who is 1 for 2. Singled in the first and lined out to end the second. And Boobage has not given up a hit since the second inning. The 1-1.
Oh, what a beautiful pitch.
Yeah, that breaking ball gets over for strike 2. So 1 strike away from getting out of the 5th in another 1-2-3 inning. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Boobage. That is his 4th. And we are halfway home here at Sunken Diamond. We'll come back with the bottom of the 5th. After this, Oregon and Stanford all tied up at 1 on GoStanford.com. Bottom 5, 1-1, as the Cardinal will send Stowers, Matheson, and Bruiser to the plate, 5, 6, 7. Kevin Dano alongside Jordan Watkins. And Jordan, we've kind of touched on it, but both of these pitchers kind of really settling down nicely these last couple of innings.
Absolutely. I think that the biggest thing for the most part was definitely with Boobage because he had that high pitch count. Mercer, he had a good start, had that one shaky inning in the 3rd, but pretty much since then he's kind of been back on cruise control.
1-2-1 for Stanford, 1-3-0 for Oregon, runs, hits, and errors. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This one roped into right. Diving grab made by Goldfarb. Goes down to a knee to absolutely rob Stowers of what could have been an extra base hit.
Tell you what, that was a beautiful play. It looked like Goldfarb had a beat on it the whole way. Nice play over there.
So, again, another hard-hit ball that just yields an out. Stanford has had more than a couple of those, as Will Matheson will try his luck. Grounded to short to end the 2nd.
If anyone is interested in the women's basketball Final Four, of course that's going on now. Last time I checked, UConn up on Notre Dame 41-30 by last check.
Okay.
It's the winner that will play Mississippi State, who was in the championship last year.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but Notre Dame was up 30-27, right?
That's right.
A little 14-0 run for the Fighting Oriemas.
And that's the thing, too. They do it in bunches.
Yep. They certainly do. Of course, that was a great game last year. If it happens to be UConn, Mississippi State, how about that Final Four game last year? Mississippi State winning on a buzzer beater.
That was unbelievable.
Matheson, count 0-2 to him. As Mercer sends one home well outside, as Matheson doesn't bite. Big shout out to the Stanford women's basketball team here. Another year, another second weekend appearance in the NCAA tournament. I think some people outside the program were fretting when they started 6-6, but if you take a deeper dive and you don't have Britt McPhee for 9 games, Dejanay Carrington was out for 3 games, getting injured, taking a elbow to the head in practices. This one is fouled over the screen and right back over our heads. I think it was only natural for things to kind of correct themselves, and they had a big win. We're talking about Oregon, kind of what they've done, but Stanford had arguably their best one of the season at Oregon. Brittany McPhee's 31 in the second half of that game. Just unbelievable.
And I think also with that, of course, they had a lot of young players who, in the beginning of the year, I know we talked about cliches. One of them, of course, in college athletics for freshmen, as there's a flyout to Johnny DeLuca in center, is that by the time you get to the end of the year, you're no longer a freshman.
Yeah.
And, of course, you saw how dynamic Kiana Williams is and is going to be. I think people saw a glimpse of how athletic and how good Maya Dotson could be down
give me
low.
Maya Dotson all day.
Absolutely. So I think, with those young players, you saw the growth. And even though you're losing 2 leaders in Brittany McPhee and Kaylee Johnson, I think you definitely see the potential. And, of course, with the players that are coming in next year, too, for Stanford. So
yeah, a couple of All-Americans. The whole twin should be fun. You have Jenna Brown. You brought up Maya Dotson. Now I'm going to make a prediction here, as this one is lined into left for a single for a bruiser. It'll get down for Patslav, who had to make the decision to play that on a hop instead of trying to make a diving grab, and if he doesn't catch it, that could be a triple. Maya Dotson, I think she could be a double threat every night come her junior or senior year.
without a doubt.
She is the most athletic player on the team. And it's just being a freshman, I think, kind of, the stage of high-level women's college basketball, that's a lot to take on. And it's one thing being a freshman guard like Kiana Williams, when the ball is in your hands, you get comfortable with the ball in your hands. But when you're playing behind other posts like an Alana Smith or a Kaylee Johnson, there's not going to be the minutes there for you right away. That one gets away from Soderman. And, that's a big round around second, big turnaround second for Bruiser. He does take second. So that's going to be ruled a passed ball.
Yeah, the thing here with Sunken Diamond, it reminds you of a lot of the older MLB stadiums, I guess you could say, whether it be like the Coliseum in Oakland or even Dodger Stadium. There is a lot of foul ground here. And I know you mentioned Matheson took a big turn. Well, if you're not careful behind the plate, that could easily be 2 bases.
Yeah, and it was looking like it could have been 2 bases there. So 1-0 to Bo Branton, who had the game-tying RBI single in the third. Takes that one inside. That's the final note on the Stanford women's basketball team. I think they'll be better next year. You do lose a lot in Britt McPhee, and the best screener in the Pac-12, and who would have been my vote for Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, Kaylee Johnson. I think just look at what happened to Ruthie Hebert when Kaylee was on the floor, and Marie Gulich at Oregon State. But Maya Dotson's going to be that much better. Kiana Williams is a star already, as this one is roped into left, and rounding third, coming home is Bruiser. Play at the plate, throw was almost cut off. Throw well behind. An easy RBI single there. Bruiser gets in with ease, and Bren has his second RBI single in as many at-bats. Stanford up 2-1.
I tell you what, there was no hesitation coming around third. And for good reason, too. That was a very good call. The throw was a little offline. But I think even with a good throw, that would have been tough to get Matheson coming around home.
A little 2-out rally here for the Cardinal. Certainly a time of change for Stanford athletics since we've been talking about women's basketball. Tara Vanderveer, now the longest tenured head coach. It used to be Mark Marquis as far as being in kind of one position in a high-profile sport here on the farm.
Of course, even in that game today, though, there are still some Stanford ties. You had, even though she's hurt, Lily Thompson, of course, Notre Dame, and then you have Katie Lou Samuelson at UConn.
The
and
younger
both of
sister.
her older sisters, Bonnie and Carly, both 3-point snipers for Stanford for quite some time.
If Carly didn't get hurt against South Carolina at the end of the first half, I think Stanford might have been the national champions last year.
Oh, man, that did not look good at all.
No, it didn't. But, of course, John Dunning, the women's volleyball coach, recently retiring after winning a national championship. And Kevin Hambley keeping the train rolling, taking Stanford to the Final Four in his first year. But Esker, the new head coach of Stanford, of course, no stranger to the farm, a Stanford grad. High chopper to third, and Steer couldn't quite handle it. Oh, just got it over
and here
to
comes
second
David
in time.
Esker. He's not taking any time on that one.
So Esker quickly going over to the umpire over at second to Steve Hilgendorf. But Stanford does have a 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the sixth. We'll be back with more after this on GoStanford.com. So the Ducks are now trailing 2-1 after, I guess you could call it controversial ruling at second base. Certainly Jordan Watkins thought that was maybe not the right call.
I'm with David Esker on that one.
So as it is, it's 3-4-5 here for the Ducks. As Boobage back on for a sixth inning of work. Breaking ball outside for ball one. Mercer's given up one earned run through 5 innings. Boobage, no earned runs, giving up the 1 run. Pitch count up to 86 as this one is skied foul. So depending on how long this inning goes, we're probably looking at Boobage's last inning of work. Maybe he pitches into the 7th.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. You know, for the most part, ouch.
Steer got that one on the ribs.
But, yeah, I was going to say, for the most part, you don't see college pitchers that often go over 100 pitches. So you think unless this is a fairly quick inning that this might be the last one.
Now, I will say the counter to that, and you're very true in what you're saying about pitch count at the collegiate level, but I do remember Mark Appel's senior year, he had one outing where he threw 144 pitches. It was something else.
That is also, of course, Mark Appel.
Yeah, yes. Who we wish him well in his new chapter in life. Announcing his retirement from baseball for the time being. Didn't sound like he completely closed the book on baseball, but he's going to be looking into different things. Of course, has that Stanford degree, former #1 overall pick. Houston guy. What is it with Stanford and Houston? The Agumakays, Andrew Luck, Mr. Appel.
I think Stephon Taylor's from that area.
Yeah, Mansfield, Texas in the house. Kulabafi.
Kula.
Goat cheese. Throw over to first low. I still remember that Kulabafi video that Stanford Athletics did.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephon Taylor interviewed himself as Kulabafi.
That's right. He was just one of those guys that he had his own vibe, and it was just so cool. Remember, he and Anthony Wilkerson made the music, the rap song.
Oh, yeah. Fouled off. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Stephon was a bit of a freestyler.
He was.
Okay, yeah,
he was. I'll never forget this. We, a few of us were invited to a girl's birthday party. Her name's Riley Wolf. I think she was turning, about 10 or 11, and she wanted some Stanford football players at the party. And in the middle of the party, Stephon Taylor takes the mic and starts freestyling. And it was so awesome. All the kids enjoyed it. The parents enjoyed it.
Nice.
It was so awesome to see.
That's sweet. That's a nice birthday party. You're a little kid growing up. You got some Stanford football players coming over.
Definitely.
I'd take that. That's like if Mookie Blaylock and Kevin Willis showed up at my 8th birthday party.
Oh, you'd be living the dream.
Oh, man. 1 and 2 the count. So Matthews behind 1 and 2 as Boobage pitches again starting to rack up here for Mr. Boobage. Entered this at bat with 88 pitches. Missed outside and a little high. Count even at 2. Update, we told you the Pac-12 scores for conference games. Nichols is leading Arizona 4-3 in the bottom of the 4th. Nichols was leading 4-0 in that game. There have been some Pac-12 schools to win national titles recently in baseball with UCLA UCLA reaching the College World Series final, Arizona winning it. Of course, Oregon State in the mid-2000s won back-to-back years.
This has always been a tough conference for baseball.
It has. Arizona State used to be really good. Same with USC if you dial it back a few more years. Of course, Stanford, always a postseason threat, winning a couple of College World Series titles under Mark Marquis, and always a threat to get to Omaha. Breaking ball, and that hit Matthews.
Yeah, but I think since that was an off-speed pitch, he kind of leaned into it to let it hit him. For the most part, I believe the rule is you're supposed to try to make somewhat of an attempt to get out of there, and Gabe Matthews, especially with that off-speed pitch, kind of almost chicken winged it.
Yeah.
Let the ball hit him, so he's not going to be granted the base.
So just a ball, and the count is full. George Horton had a quick word with the home plate umpire, Eric Peterson.
Of course, David Eskers had his run with the umpires today, so he had to come out a little bit and just overhear that conversation.
So count 3-2 to Matthews, who does not have an official at bat yet. He has walked twice, looking for his 3rd walk potentially here. Big pitch from Boobage.
Nice.
Strike 3. As Matthews swings through that one. Some calls have certainly gone against Stanford. There's one that probably the Ducks feel like went against them. Runner on first, 1 out now as Soderman comes to the plate. Soderman 0 for 2, 2 swinging strikeouts. Arizona State and Washington State in extras now, tied at 3 in the 10th. Oregon State has roared in front of Utah. They're up 7-5. And we're trailing 5-2 in the 6th. So a 5-run 7th for the Bees. And Washington up 3-2 on USC in the 5th. And UCLA leading Cal 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. So Soderman's average down to 275. A junior from Danville in the East Bay, transfer from the College of San Mateo, CSM.
Right up to 92 from my apartment.
There you go.
Tell you what, from over by their football stadium, you'd be hard-pressed to try to find that much better views of the Bay Area than over there at CSM.
Yeah, you're high up on the hill there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to a USA water polo practice over there. It's a really nice campus. You kind of walk around thinking, oh, this is a junior college? CSM, they certainly have their athletics in order. They get a lot of kids from Sarah, which is the high school right there, of course, made famous by Barry Lamar Bonds and one, of course, Tom Brady.
Heard of that guy before.
He's pretty good.
He's the one that's married to the supermodel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giselle Bundchen, yeah.
There we go.
I think he won Super Bowl 51.
But now, which one was that? I feel like I just remember Super Bowls jumping from 50 to 52. There wasn't a 51 in there. But I tell you what, especially with CSM, shout out to their head football coach, Tim Tulloch. We got to work with him a little bit getting ready for Pro Day, and it seems always they have good teams there and definitely produce some guys out of CSM that go to the D1 level.
Yep.
And then, of course, they also have a Super Bowl champion out of them with Julian Edelman.
That's very true. Count is 1-2 to Soderman after a swinging strike. Now, Stanford football just had its 2018 Pro Day recently. What was 2017 Pro Day like for you?
That was one of the most nerve-wracking but also adrenaline. Oh, he got him.
Strike him out, throw him out. Wow, Soderman down on strikes and out at first steer. We'll hear more about Jordan's Pro Day on the other side of the break. It is 2-1. Stanford as Boobage gets the shutdown inning here on GoStanford.com. Tim Talla, top of the order up here for the Cardinal, up 2-1 here in the bottom of the sixth. And before that strike him out, throw him out, rudely interrupted our Jordan Watkins story. He was telling us about Pro Day 2017.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I think that with everything that you've worked for, whether it be playing, Pee-wee football, high school, of course in college, it came down to, all right, this is time to put everything out there. Obviously, a lot of teams and scouts were here. I remember seeing Ron Rivera out here, head coach of the Carolina Panthers. But, for the most part, things went well, tested well. Unfortunately, about 3 or so weeks beforehand, tore my pec, so I didn't do everything. But for the most part, things went well. But again, it was one of those things where I had so much energy and adrenaline pumping. by the time we got to position drills, I could not feel my legs. It was just so drained. You know, it wasn't one of those things. That's a base hit for Tawa down the line.
Yeah, that will be fair. Tawa rounding for second, and that is going to be a stand-up double for Tim Tawa. So a leadoff double to start the 6th for the Cardinal.
Yeah, you know, it was only a matter of time before Tim Tawa found a way to get on base in this one.
His first hit. So you ran out of gas, kind of?
I actually didn't, but it was getting close because it was one of those things that since, you know, we all had been training so hard for so long, I was like, where'd my legs go? But, you know, pushed through it. I was doing my individual drills with Solomon Thomas and, of course, the beast that he is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a good job for everyone that was out there that day.
Yeah, you got an up-close and personal look at what Solomon Thomas can do. What was it like playing with him?
He is a physical – there's two things with Solomon. Because I think, one, you know, you always see these guys that are just very physically gifted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was. But to have that work ethic on top of it and being one of the hardest workers, he and Christian McCaffrey both.
Yeah.
That you know, put those together, that was just a very, very dangerous product that came out of that. And, you know, everything so far he's done. He had a pretty good, you know, rookie year with the Niners, and I think it's going to be even better here this second year coming around.
Yeah, a couple of top 10 picks for the Cardinal in that 2017 NFL draft. Of course, the 2018 NFL draft, not too far away. Which quarterback would you take? You got a chance to go up against both of them.
Man, that's a good question.
Talking about Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen, of course, as Hanley's at the plate, counts 0-1.
So you mean so Josh Allen's out of the picture?
Oh, okay, you can take Josh Allen.
I'm not taking Josh Allen, but but I mean, no disrespect to him.
Take Baker Mayfield for all I care.
Between the two, though, I think I would go with Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I think overall, if you want to bring in mobility into the picture and just big game moments, I think Sam Darnold has it. But when you're just looking for someone who is, I think, just the best quarterback, I go Josh Rosen. And also with that, I think that Lamar Jackson's going to get picked higher than I think people think he will.
A very accomplished quarterback as that one skips off the glove of Soderman. So another pass ball, we imagine. Haven't seen the official scoring for that yet, but that's what you'd believe to be the case. Now a runner on third, that's Tawa. Nobody out.
And, of course, now we have a runner on third with nobody out. With this potential, with that top half of the 6th potentially being the last for Chris Boobage, you'd like to see Stanford get a couple more runs in here and just help kind of preserve that lead.
Boobage is at 99 pitches. No one's warming up yet for the Cardinals, so could see Boobage again here in the 7th.
Getting a little loose.
Yeah, there is a little bit of activity. This one's fouled over our heads. 2-2 the count to Hanley, who is 0 for 2 in this one. His average down to 250. So, he steps back in. A big spot here for the Cardinal, trying to provide some insurance for Boobage. Sharply hit the short, and Nelson, a nice play over to first, and that was hit too sharply for Tawa to come home.
I'm going to tell you what, that was a good job by Ryan Nelson, too, using his eyes to hold Tawa over there at third to even cancel out any thought of potentially trying to come home.
So that'll bring up Horner, and still a big RBI opportunity. Runner on third, 1 out. Horner 0 for 2 today. Last time up in the 4th, he grounded out to his position, shortstop. And there'll be a mound visit. Soderman coming into the rubber. And we were talking about Josh Rosen. Of course, one of the things about him is, well, the off-the-field stuff. I say in quotes because he had the thing with Donald Trump, and some people think he has too much of an opinion on stuff. As a football player, is that something that concerns you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think for me, at the end of the day, when it's time for when it's time for us to be at practice and meetings or in the weight room and the game days, if you're ready to go, you're ready to go. I think that's something that's been a topic a lot as of late, as we have a mound visit here. That's been a topic as of late. We had Laura Ingram that told LeBron to shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes have been vocal as of late about political and social issues. And, at least to me, that's part of why you are an athlete. Is when you make it to that big stage, you have this platform to reach out to a lot of people. So to say that, because I've seen the same reports, people kind of concerned. He likes a lot of other things outside of
God forbid he has a life.
Yeah, right, exactly. And, it almost, for me, too, it kind of thinks about, okay, well, we always talk about how there's that whole debate of, do you pay college athletes, do you not? Well, if the whole debate is obviously they're getting this education, I feel like there's a pretty big interest there outside of football or any other sport, and it's called school.
Yeah, exactly.
So no matter what, they're always going to have this other thing going for them, especially at a school like UCLA, USC, Stanford, what have you. So, I mean, I'm not with that one.
Horner going to be intentionally walked here. The count is 3-0. It's not like MLB where you just make the signal and 4 balls immediately appear on the screen and you're over at first. So that'll put runners on the corners. You have a chance to get a double play if you're Oregon.
Yeah, I don't know if Commissioner Manfred approves of this.
Yeah.
Kind of slows down the pace of play.
Hey, Tim Swartz, another GoStanford.com broadcaster, will tell you how much does 4 pitches really add to a game like that, 15 seconds or so.
And not just that. I mean, you've seen every now and then a couple of instances where maybe that intentional pitch doesn't get as far as it needs to, or some players, they are bold enough to try to reach out there and get a base hit.
Well, maybe it skips over the catcher's glove.
Right, so you take those out of the situation too.
Yeah. Andrew Dashbach at the plate. One final note on kind of the school being an interest. In the wise words kind of Cardale Jones,
oh man,
they some people do come to college to play school.
They do.
This one roped to left. That'll get down. Dashbach, an RBI single. And the Cardinal up 3-1. Tawa touching home plate.
Well, sometimes your strategies go against you. And nice job there by Dashbach. You jumped on that pitch, too, very early in the at-bat. And Stanford now 3-1 lead.
Activity in the Duck bullpen. Cannot tell the numbers from here. And, well, I forgot my binoculars today, so any pitching change that is made, we'll let you know when it happens, as we're not going to be able to get a number on who's warming up. This is Stowers, who hit a sharply hit ball in the right field. Nice diving play made by Goldfarb to record the out. Stowers swing and a miss on something out of the zone on that breaking ball. I will say, though, that's one of my favorite quotes of all time. We ain't come here to play school.
And, that was, like you said, that is the mentality of a lot of people coming in. I think you see that more so in basketball because they have a one-and-done rule where, you have a couple people that are only there for, say, a semester.
Yeah.
Now you see a couple of the highly touted recruits are deciding to go straight to the G League. You can do that at 18 instead of the age limit of 19 needed to go to the NBA. But, in some situations, I do get it. The whole reason that everyone goes to college is to put themselves in a situation to be successful after.
Yeah.
And for these people that they have a way to do it, then obviously, Lonzo Ball that is not going to have problems, or Brandon Ingram. Think about some of the other guys that were just one-and-done players as of late. So what they can do with basketball is, what other people are going to college for and to do with other fields.
Count is 1-2 to Stowers. You won't get any disagreements from me. So runners on first and second, one out. The Cardinal looking for more after the RBI single from Dashbach. This one lifted high to right. Goldfarb underneath it before the warning track, and tagging at second is Horner. He will head to third, and they'll put runners on the corners with 2 down.
Tell you what, Stowers just got under that one. Not really much wind blowing here at Sunken Diamond either, so again, usually there's a fly ball like that, and as well deeply hit as it was, just missed that one.
Looks like the Ducks will be making a pitching change. So we'll let you know who the new pitcher is in a little bit. We'll keep it here. 3-1 Stanford, bottom of the 6th, before Jordan Watkins takes over for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I got to get my kicks in here. We're not going to break.
Oh, no, the floor is yours.
Yeah. But a nice inning here for the Cardinal. Anytime you can get some insurance runs, you will take them in. You mentioned the first pitch swinging there from Dashbach really got on that one. This could be a very critical run scored here by the Cardinal in the 6th.
Absolutely, and I think that especially, well, both of these teams have really good bullpens. We're about to go into Oregon's right now with Parker Kelly, the junior from Portland, Oregon. But right now, I mean, this is Parker Kelly, I believe his 14th appearance on the year. And even in his career, he's made 39 appearances, 5-0 record, 3.5 ERA, 67 strikeouts. This year, 4-0, 2.05 ERA, 33 strikeouts, and 22 innings pitched. So definitely a strikeout ability there with him. But, yeah, like we said, both of these teams, and you come into these later innings, are very, very good in their bullpens. So with that, yeah, I feel like with Stanford having a multi-run lead, they have to feel pretty good turning it over whenever they do.
And still a pretty big spot here for the Cardinal. You have a chance to tack on another with a single with runners on first and third and 2 down. And Jordan read the particulars on one Parker Kelly. A Portland native. There's always been a little bit of talk about will Portland get a Major League Baseball team. I know John Canzano, one of the big media personalities in Oregon, has the Bald-Faced Truth radio show up there. Is also a columnist for the Oregonian/Oregon Live. It's a topic he has addressed before, and I think a lot of people would like to see. You have a natural rival up there with the Seattle Mariners.
Well, I'll ask you this. What do you think will happen? Because I think both eventually will.
Okay.
So what do you think happens first?
Okay.
Portland baseball team or return of the Sonics?
I knew that was coming. It's going to be the Sonics, I think. They have that stadium being built. They're pretty much going to get an NHL team, and then you add basketball there. Everyone in the NBA wants the Sonics back in Seattle.
Especially when you see a lot of those native Seattle players. Jamal Crawford's been vocal about it. Of course, even though he's not from Seattle, but he drafted there now out here in the Bay Area. Kevin Durant's talked about how much he liked being in Seattle. And, of course, there was a time there in the 90s there they had a good core.
Oh, man.
But just, you run into some of those buzzsaws, like, of course, the Bulls with the Gary Payton, Sean Kemp teams.
They went to the 1996 NBA Finals, but, of course, ran into one of the best teams in NBA history, the 72-10 Chicago Bulls. 0-1 to Matheson after the first pitch strike from Parker Kelly. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Can't completely close the book on Mercer, who's responsible for the runners on first and third. Strike 2 taken by Matheson there. It's just a question of does an NBA franchise relocate to Seattle, or they put a 31st team there, and I hope it's the latter, not the former.
It's always tough to see teams having to move and leave places. You see as of late more so it's been football because of the Rams and the Raiders will be moving here shortly. The Chargers leaving San Diego.
Your Atlanta Thrashers in the NHL.
And, of course, the Atlanta Flames before that.
Yeah, strike 3 taken. As Will Matheson goes down on strikes, but Parker Kelly gets the job done, limits the damage to just a single run on the RBI single from Andrew Dashbach. 3-1 Stanford. It'll be Jordan Watkinson's show on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. We are here for the start of the 7th inning. Stanford last inning extending their lead, now up 3-1. Chris Boobage on for a 7th inning of work, and he will start off against Jacob Goldfarb, who is 0 for 2 today.
There are two guys warming up in the Stanford pen. Boobage at a season-high 99 pitches through 6 innings.
I believe the closest to that was his effort against Michigan.
Yeah, 91 pitches and 6 1/3. The most he's gone is 7 full innings against USC. He has hit 6 innings in each of his last 5 outings now.
0-1 to the lefty, off-speed pitch had him in front, and the count is 0-2.
Tell you, that changeup has been working all night long.
It really has, and I think you've seen not only the changeup getting people in front of the pitch, but also his breaking stuff has been working well, freezing a couple of people. As that one off speed over to the shortstop, Nico Horner over to first. Nice strong throw. And there's out number 1 in the inning. And now with that, Kenyon Yovan will be the batter. 1 for 2 on the day. He doubled and then came home to score back in the 2nd.
We got a shout out from Carrie Conklin Yovan, Kenyon's mother, on Twitter, who is giving Jordan a nice little shout out for his singing abilities. Thank you for watching, Mrs. Conklin Yovan.
Absolutely, and thanks for the compliment. I like to try to think that I myself am multi-talented. More so keep the singing talents in the shower, but every now and then they do make a public appearance.
Who would you compare yourself to as a singer?
Ooh. I would say, I'll say this.
All right.
I'm like Drake. And the reason I'll say that is because I'm probably better off rapping.
Okay.
Where, you know, I don't have to go different notes and things like that. But once every now and then when I make that transition, it works out.
All right. Fair enough.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Strike 2.
As I like to say, the second best rapper out of Toronto. Nobody beats Chaos in my book.
Go.
I actually have him further down than second, but that's another story.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball. And there is strike 3.
Boobage looking as sharp as ever here in this outing tonight. The wear and tear of 106 pitches really doesn't seem to be taking its effect.
He definitely has been looking stronger as the game has been going on. And now Ryan Nelson will be the batter, 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to third back in the fourth, and it was hit by a pitch before being stranded on back in the second as he takes a very mighty cut. Swinging and a miss, 0-1.
One of my favorite audio clips in sports talk history from Ryan Sandberg saying, it's not Ryan, it's Ryan. It gets played on Jim Rome all the time.
0-1 outside showing bunt.
So this guy, Ryan Nelson, R-Y-N-E, as Sandberg would say, it's not Ryan, it's Ryan.
And, of course, it's one of those I feel like you've really got to slow down and make sure you get the difference. 1-1, swings and a miss. Another off-speed breaking pitch there from Boobage. And he is now one strike away from a perfect seventh inning.
Yeah, 7 strikeouts already. Season high 9 strikeouts at Texas on March 9th.
He's ready, and here is the 1-2. Got him swinging on the high heater. What a job here by Chris Boobage. 3 up, 3 down, strikeout number 8. We're going to go to the bottom half of the 7th after we stretch here at Sunken Diamond as the Cardinal lead it 3-1. We'll be right back after this. Welcome here back for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Stanford will have 7, 8, and 9 up. Nick Brewster will start it off 2 for 2 today. He has come around to score on a single back in the 3rd and had an RBI back in the 5th on a single.
Very productive day for Nick.
And first pitch breaking ball in there for strike 1. Good movement there from Parker Kelly.
Batting average jumping up from 125 to 300. Of course, a small sample size. When you go 2 for 2, he's now 3 for 10 on the season.
Here is the 0-1 fastball called strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-2.
Nice pitch there from Kelly.
Nick Brewster, a Gatorade Player of the Year. As we mentioned before, Chandler, Arizona. Hobbies include basketball, ping pong, and spike ball.
I've never played spike ball.
Spike ball, I'd say it is actually a lot more difficult than it looks.
Is that where you have like the little trampoline in front of you or whatever?
Yeah, and the yellow ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I usually have a teammate and trying to hit it to where that ball, once it bounces off the net, and the opposing team doesn't have a chance to field it.
Okay. Are you an accomplished spike ball player, Jordan?
Not at all.
All right.
I'm an accomplished watcher of spike ball.
Who's the best spike ball player on the Stanford football team?
Who were some of the toughest guys that I saw play? I think Conrad Uckerpina was up there.
All right.
I think Grad Tabuada was up there. Chris Harrell.
All right.
I'd say those were some of the good guys I saw play.
Yeah. Pac-12 all spike ball team.
1-2 the count to Brewster. Here's a pitch. Off speed inside. Brewster backs out the way. Count even 2-2.
Yeah, that's a get off the plate, Nick, kind of pitch from Parker Kelly. I'd be setting something up outside on this next pitch.
Count 2-2. The middle infielders playing right on the edge of the grass, the outfield grass here, as that off-speed pitch is fouled back, and once again the kids will take off.
I think kids can keep the baseballs here at Sunken Diamond. I don't know that for a fact, but I'd imagine so. I just know at Boyd and Jill Smith Family Stadium, you cannot keep the softballs.
I have a hunch that if the kids were not able to keep the balls, we wouldn't see as many of them running to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
They catch on eventually.
Yeah, the hive mind of children.
There you go. The 2-2 fastball again fouled back. Nice battle here for Brewster.
Hope you didn't park your car right near the fence.
Oh, I'm in the dirt lot thanks to the track and field event going on today on campus.
Stanford Invitational tonight and tomorrow.
Always one of the bigger events goes on here during the track and field season here.
Shout out to my guy Miles Bradley, the Stanford record holder in the 110-meter hurdles, class of 09.
2-2, just missed inside, and the count is full. For the most part, there haven't been many disagreements with Eric Peterson in his strike zone today.
Yeah, it's more been the calls on the base paths that have drawn some ire.
Here is the payoff pitch. Fastball roped, and that's going to get down for a base hit in left field. Picking that one up and bringing it back in is Patzlaff. And the leadoff hitter once again for Stanford is on. And here comes Bo Branton.
Have yourself an evening, Nick Bruiser. 3 at-bats, 3 singles.
And I think in both cases you've seen, well, all 3 cases now, you've seen situations where he's the one that's the table setter, and then he's the other guy where he's the one that's bringing the runs in. And now trying to be a table setter again as Bo Branton, the .370 batting average now after being 2 for 2 today. Also has a couple of singles on the day.
A couple of run-scoring singles at that.
Kelly looks in, looks over to first, gets the sign. And showing bunt, and that one is fouled back. 0-1.
Situational baseball, you like to see that one get put into fair territory. Kind of one of those things, if you can't lay a bunt down, you hit a home run. Yeah, but you didn't exactly do the job. We'll see what happens here with Bo. He's had a very nice night.
That's one of those situations where the manager can't be too upset.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
The bunt down.
Kind of like the old don't shoot, good shot.
Great shot.
Yeah.
Of course, whenever I think about that, I think of Steph Curry those few years back with that behind-the-back dribble move on the Clippers and then turns around almost midair to shoot the 3.
Yeah.
Looking at Steve Kerr's reaction to that.
Or Steph pulling up at Oklahoma City from like 30 feet out or something. That was incredible.
The funniest thing I think about that shot was if you look at Enes Kanter on the
Yeah,
sideline,
he knew
puts his hands up like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he knew it.
Bo Brandon will step out here, readjust the sleeves, and steps back in. 1-1 count. He's got Brewster at first. Pretty small lead. And a quick step off. Brewster without a stolen base or stolen base attempt on the season. Looks back over to first again.
Yeah, did have that stolen base his last time up. That was his first stolen base of the season.
That's right. I stand corrected.
I always say the toughest things to remember are the things that just happened.
I would agree. Of course, that stolen base came back in the third inning when he came around to score later on from the Bo Branton single. Let's see if we can have something like that happen again here.
Stanford will take it.
Parker again looking over first.
And I think that stolen base in the third inning certainly playing a role here in all the checkbacks from Parker Kelly, or at least that one.
Stepped off a couple of times here now to throw over, and every time he looks into home plate, takes a very good look over there to first base. Here's a 1-2, a little running lead. That bunt is going to get down, and it spins out foul. Couple of worries there for Stanford. I think one if that ball is going to hang up enough for Parker Kelly to catch it, and then hoping that the ball would stay fair once it landed on the infield grass. But since that is strike number 3 on a bunt, that is a strikeout. And now Jesse Hewitt will be the batter.
It almost worked to perfection there. It's exactly where you want that bunt to go. Just couldn't keep it fair.
Second strikeout for Parker Kelly. Had Matheson looking back in the last inning. Jesse Hewitt 0 for 2 today. Secondary lead now from Brewster. Throw over. And he's in plenty of time. Close game we have going on in Columbus right now. Notre Dame fighting with the UConn Huskies. 71-67 with a little over 4 minutes to go in that one.
I was hoping to be in Columbus today, as if Stanford went to the Final Four, yours truly would have been on that trip. But
and knocked out by a very, very tough Louisville team. Of course, they lost today.
Game that went to OT against Mississippi State.
And another bunt shown there from Jesse Hewitt, but still called strike as he pulls it back. Just looking over there at the dugout. Bo Branton still beside himself, not able to get that bunt down.
That's really like one of those things that like you earn some respect for your teammates and the coaching staff. If you're able to get a sacrifice bunt down, you do your job kind of thing.
Especially in a tough situation like that where it's a 2-strike count.
Yeah, that was a gutsy call to try to bunt there.
0-1 is a chopper. Going back on it was Steer, and he couldn't field it on a good hop. And everybody will be safe.
It's got to be 5. Oh, they're putting it up. Base hit. Well, that might just be the kind of the automatic graphic they put up. That looked like an error to me.
It looked like one of those tough tweener type of hops. Steer didn't know whether he wanted to go in.
Yeah, they're rolling that in there.
Yeah. I think if they called that one over in left field earlier an error, that this one had to be as well. But that was one of those tweener hops. Looked like Steer didn't know whether he wanted to come in on it or try to come back. And then once it hit that dirt, it just kind of died on him a little bit.
That certainly isn't the easiest play to make. Now, they put it up as a hit on the scoreboard. We got the thumbs down signal. I think it's an error. Now they put it up. I think Stanford's at 7 hits. The scoreboard shows 3-8-1.
Tim Tawa, top of the lineup here for Stanford. Swung on and fly ball hit a mile into the air. Coming over is Pat Slav. He'll make the grab. And they're 2 down.
And not the easiest play to make it third there for Steer, but you got to be able to make that play. He had a reasonable shot to make that play, and that's why that's an error.
I've always wondered sometimes when you have tough situations like that, whether to go with an error or a hit, how that decision comes. And what's the decision-making process? We'll have a timeout here as Coach Esker will have a conversation with Maverick Handley and the base runners, along with actually the base coaches.
Yeah, good old huddle there. There was a mound visit between Soderman and Parker Kelly. Now, that is one thing I like to see at the Major League Baseball level with the pace of play initiatives, limiting the mound visits to 6 per 9 innings, then 1 for each extra inning after. I think that is a good move. I'm not sure if the wiping off the 4 pitches for the intentional walk is the best thing, but I'm definitely a fan of that for the mound visits.
Wonder what it is there that Coach Esker saw, just looking at the defensive alignment. Again, like Stanford was doing earlier, the middle infielders are playing a little deep as that ball is outside, 1-0. But for the most part, the outfield playing pretty straight up. Maybe a little bit of a shade over to the right. Hanley with a 1-0 count. The pitch from Parker Kelly. Off-speed pitch, grounder over to third. Nice play for Steer. Tries to go to second, and it's just in time. So a nice makeup play there from Steer over at third. Leaves 2 on for the Cardinal. We'll go on to the top half of the 8th with the Stanford Cardinal leading 3-1. Welcome back here for the start of the 8th inning. We do have a change for Stanford, but it might not be one that you are thinking of. In the outfield, we have coming into the game Alec Wilson, and he will play in right. Stour stays in the game, but now in left field. Chris Boobage still on the mound, and he has Johnny DeLuca to start the 8th. He shows bunt and pulled back, ball 1.
So if he gets an out here, it'll be his longest outing of the season.
And again, after those first 2 innings, the way he's pitched, you couldn't tell that it was a struggle early on, as that one's in there 1-1. Off-speed pitch, look, a changeup, and it was a beauty. And the count 1-2.
I'm sure there was a conversation between Esker and Boobage in the bottom of the 7th, probably going something to the tone of, how you feeling, Chris? I'm good, Coach. All right, you can start the 8th.
And so far, looking good, as that one's a little low, count 2-2. And I think when you have a pitcher with the talent level of Chris Boobage, that you definitely can, as a manager, rely and trust on how he says he's feeling. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. High cheese. That's the 9th one for Chris Boobage on the day.
Yeah, that matches his season high now.
A couple of times now we've seen him go upstairs to retire batters on strikes. And now for the 4th time in the game, the lineup turns over for Oregon with Kyle Kasser, the batter. Singled back in the 2nd and brought in the RBI, the only one so far of the day for Oregon. Off-speed pitch in there, strike 1. Again, Boobage has been doing a great job here later in these innings of starting out ahead on these batters.
Yeah, good point.
And it's definitely paid off in terms of his pitch count, leveling off a little bit more after those first 2 innings.
He certainly faced a couple of 3-0 counts in the first couple of innings. Again, he was around 50 pitches after 2 innings, the high 40s, and certainly has curtailed that pace.
Now he is with an 0-2 count with the leadoff batter. Here's the pitch. That one right back up the middle. Solid hit there from Kyle Kasser. And that one's going to get to the outfield, and it is a 1-out single for the leadoff hitter for Oregon. And now Daniel Patzlaff will be the batter.
I wonder if that's the night for Boobage.
So looks like we're going to have a visit here. And I think this one might be just to get a little bit more time, of course. And no, actually, that's going to be it for a second there, since we didn't see the Stanford skipper coming on out. Thought he might get a chance, but that's going to do it. Chris Boobage coming out to a good applause here from the Stanford fans, and also his teammates coming out of the dugout as well.
Yeah, great work from Chris Boobage, going 7 1/3 for his longest outing of the season. Didn't look like he was going to get 22 outs after the first 2 innings. That pitch count really got up there, but great stuff from Chris to battle back.
And now it's like we have number 33, Jack Little, coming in the game now for Stanford on the mound. Jack Little, sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. 6'4", 190. And about a little fun fact for this. He went up against Zach Gretsch, also a Stanford pitcher, for Prom King.
Oh, who won?
Zach won.
Oh, yeah.
Both at Bishop Gorman High School. Couple of numbers here for Jack Little on the year. This is going to be his 10th appearance. 17 innings pitched. He has 7 saves, 14 walks, and 18 strikeouts. Opponents batting just 113 against him. Of course, this would be a safe situation for him here.
Yeah, Little and Gretsch helping lead Bishop Gorman to a state title a couple of years back.
And while Jack Little's continue to take his warm-up pitches, Kevin and I are out here looking at UConn and Notre Dame. Ooh. And UConn just turned it over here with 21 seconds left. They trail by 3. As Notre Dame looking to try to knock out UConn here in the Final Four for the second season in a row. UConn looking like they might not reach the national championship.
Yeah, how about that? Tough times in Storrs, Connecticut.
Not as tough as they get over there. I tell you what,
yeah.
Gino Auriemma, with what he's done over the years with that program, is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, 19 Final Fours, 11 national championships, something like that.
Petzlaff, the batter. First time these Oregon hitters will see a right-handed pitcher today. And that pitch is in there for strike 1.
By the way, should mention the book not completely closed on Boobage, but 7 1/3, 4 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Hit a couple of batters as well.
He is responsible for the runner on first.
118 pitches.
The 0-1. Fastball outside. Count 1-1. Good again. Good size here on Jack Little, 6'4". But with this release, he definitely comes down a little bit lower. But one thing you always talk about with these taller pitchers is that release point comes a little bit closer to home plate. So even if it's not a absolute flamethrower, it still does seem to the hitter that it's coming that much faster.
Certainly, it's always tough to pick up an unorthodox delivery, if you will. One you're not used to seeing all the time.
Count 1-2. There is a lot of room over there on the right field line as that one swung on, well hit to center. That one's going to be an easy one for Tim Tawa, ranging over to his left. And there's 2 down. Kind of some of that bad luck, if you will, we saw from Stanford earlier on in the game.
Drilled to center right there.
Now Spencer Steer will be the batter. Looking for his first hit today. A couple of pop-outs and then was hit by a pitch, but then picked off over at first back in the 6th. Swung on, first pitch swinging, and that one's going to go over the light structure, foul.
He was thinking tie ball game right there.
I think so.
That was a home run swing.
Very aggressive early in the count.
And way out in front.
The Ducks 1-4-1. Kyle Casser got that 4th hit here in the top of the 8th inning. The first hit for the Ducks since he singled in the top of the 2nd inning.
0-1 count. Spencer Steers the pitch. He'll take that one. Nice breaking ball. Catches the outside corner. Count 0-2. Jack Little looking to come on in and get these last 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Here's the 0-2. Swung on, and that's well hit to left center. Going over Towel. He's running and is going to stop right in front of the warning track for out number 3. So now the book on Chris Boobage is officially closed. And Jack Little does a good job of getting the 2 outs, leaving 1 on. We will head to the bottom half of the 8th. Stanford leads 3-1. And here we are for the bottom half of the 8th inning. As Nico Horner will step up, Parker Kelly still on the mound. Nico Horner on the game, 0 for 2. Kevin and I are we're multitasking over here right now. Oh my goodness!
That's one way of putting it. I mean, you want to talk about a late game meltdown from Notre Dame.
First pitch, breaking ball in there, strike one from Parker Kelly.
Notre Dame was up 5 with 20 seconds to go. UConn hits a 3. Notre Dame inbound pass gets stolen, stealing layup, and then they turn it over. And now UConn with 3.6 seconds left, a chance to win. It's that Geno magic.
0-1 count. Swung on and roped up the middle by Nico Horner. And Stanford, again, with a leadoff runner on. He takes a big turn around first. But getting it in is Johnny DeLuca. And a leadoff hitter on again for Alec Wilson.
Yeah, fourth time a leadoff guy has gotten on for the Cardinal. Happened on the second, third, and actually fifth time. 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And now the coming Georgia native, Alec Wilson, getting his first at-bat of the game. A couple numbers for Alec Wilson here on the year. 185. He's got 3 RBIs. Does have 4 stolen bases and 4 attempts on the year, so if he get on here, is liable to maybe get a little more small ball action going.
Yeah, tied for first on the team with those 4 stolen bases. Coming, Georgia, is that near you?
It is north of me, more so north of Atlanta.
Okay.
Is that one? It definitely looks like Oregon was expecting some movement on the base path.
Would you call it suburban Atlanta, or is that too far north?
I would say right outside.
Okay, extended fam.
Right. Like I'm more so Metro Atlanta area, Decatur, just like the first exit outside 285, which kind of goes all the way around Metro Atlanta. Coming a little bit further outside of that.
Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur, where it's greater.
I remember there's an old favorite song of mine. It's called Two Sides by Killer Mike, and there's a line about Decatur in there.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot say what Decatur rhymes with in the I'm not sure if you know that song, but the line after Decatur is not a PG.
Oh, we're just leaving it with Decatur's greater.
Yeah, exactly.
1-0 count to Alec Wilson. Pickoff attempt. Pretty nice move over there Parker Kelly has.
So if Alec Wilson said he's from the north side, you would say, oh, you say you're from the north side? There must be 2 sides?
I mean, I'm definitely more of an east side guy.
Okay. Oh, you say you're from the east side.
There you go.
Well,
so,
rest in peace, Shawty Low.
Yes, rest in peace. As another running lead over there. That swing almost looked like it was supposed to be a hit-and-run type situation, but it was just a running lead there for Horner.
It was kind of like a mini pitch out there as well to take away the hit and run, see if you can pick a guy off at first.
It's almost like a wasted strike there. Alec Wilson, who he and the Migos can claim North Atlanta.
You Amigos guy?
I am.
Okay. Best Atlanta music act. Your opinion.
For me, I'd say Outkast.
All right, yeah. All right.
I'm an Outkast
Good
guy.
answer.
I like Outkast. Say Outkast, T.I., and Future are my 3.
Okay, all right.
Those are my 3 favorites.
Fair enough. Yeah, my top 2 are the same. I think I'd take a Killer Mike's from Atlanta.
Right.
All right, he'd probably be my 3rd.
He actually is going to have a barbershop when they do this renovation in Phillips Arena when it's done for next year. He's going to have a barbershop in Phillips Arena.
Oh, I heard about the barbershop. I didn't realize that was Killer Mike's barbershop.
Killer Mike Swag Shop, I believe, is going to be the name for it.
Nice.
Another pickoff attempt over to first. The 1-2 swung on and fouled off.
Yeah, Wilson just got a piece of that.
Looked like some good breaking movement there. Stowers is on deck in the hole, Matheson, and then the Duck Killers of the day.
Yes.
Brewster and Branton are up after that.
Those two have combined 5 for 6. And this is certainly the last time Stanford wants to be up at the plate in a half inning.
Science and engineering major from Cummings, Georgia.
The 1-2. Another pitch out, throw over to first. Horner is there easily.
A worthy throwback.
Of course, we saw earlier with a pickoff attempt over to first, a little stumble in action.
There's a lot of undeclared.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of the freshmen and sophomores are. You go rocket science or brain surgery. Here's a bioengineering.
Count 2-2.
States represented on their roster.
Horner takes a modest lead. 2-2
Runner leads.
count, ground ball, chopper. There's only going to be one play for Kyle Kasser, and that's the first. One down, not necessarily a bunt, but same.
Acts the same.
There you go.
Yeah, just the high chopper. There was really no play for Kasser to make to second. He had to take the out at first, and now you have yourself a runner in scoring position with one out. Another chance for an insurance tally here for the Cardinal.
And, of course, with the prediction, and it looks like I don't see much going on in the bullpen, being that Jack Little's going to come on and try to get his 8th close of the season. I think you do already, of course, you feel confident with him with a 2-run lead. But, of course, the 3-run lead or maybe even more just almost steals the deal. As that one's going to get through the gap for a base hit. Here comes Horner around third. There will be no throw. And just like that, there is that 3-run lead for Stanford as now they lead 4-1.
That's a well-deserved base hit for Stowers. In the second, he had that sharply hit ball right to first. So it was a 3-6-3 double play. Then he had the line shot to right field, a sliding/diving grab made by Goldfarb. So he's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Finally, one gets through for a base hit, and that could be a huge insurance run for the Cardinal.
Definitely. And the funny thing is that might have been one of his weaker hit balls of the night.
Yeah.
But just
exactly.
because of where the defense was, that finds the hole. And, sometimes that is the nature of baseball.
Exactly. Certainly not a Texas leaguer, but he's hit the ball harder tonight.
Will Matheson looking for his first hit today as he takes first pitch, strike one.
Ground out to short, fly out to center, and a strikeout looking for Mr. Matheson.
Kelly looks in. Takes a couple looks over to first. Definitely does take his time trying to get the sign. Off-speed pitch is outside. Count 1-1. Heading back over to the women's basketball game in overtime. Notre Dame with a 2-point lead right now over UConn. It's like Gabby Williams just got called for a foul.
That's a heck of a battle there.
Of course, it was a great battle last year for Notre Dame when they played Stanford in the Elite Eight matchup. Game sealed late with a block by Erica McCall.
Bird, Bakersfield's finest.
1-1, runner goes. There's the throw down. It's going to be offline. It gets the outfield. And up gets Stowers. He's going to head to third. The throw is not in time. And it's going to be a stolen base and an error. Don't know if that throw to second would have beaten him anyway.
Yeah, certainly a throwing error from Soderman, though. That was well behind the bag. So, yeah, will be credit for a stolen base for Stowers and then a throwing error that allows him to take third.
So with that, the runner, one out, Stanford has a runner on third to potentially add even more runs up here in the bottom of the eighth.
SBE2.
Now you see the infield in more of a position that they haven't been in all game. Usually they've been on the outfield grass. Now they're up in the infield grass to try to concede any more runs coming in. As that one is a ground ball. He's going to go home. He bobbled it and has to go over to first. Definitely looked like Ryan Nelson wanted to go home with it but couldn't get a grip on the ball, so another run's going to score. And Stanford leads 5-1.
Yeah, that's not going to go down as an error, but it cost Oregon a run because if he fields that cleanly, either the runner at third, in this case Stowers, is dead to rights, or he stays at third and there's two out.
You know, for Oregon, you got right there everything that you wanted.
Yep.
You had the ground ball with the infield in. I think if he's able to field that and get the transition cleanly, there's a chance to get Stowers coming at home. But instead, it works as almost a squeeze bunt. And now Nick Brewster. The killer bees in this lineup for Stanford today. Brewster and Branton. He's 3 for 3 today with all singles.
The killer Bruce and the BRs in the lineup.
Count 0-1. Off-speed pitch and a beauty. Swing and a miss from Brewster to count 0-2. And, of course, if we want to talk killer bees, we can also put in Chris Boobage in there the way he dealt earlier today. The 0-2. Another breaking pitch. Got him looking. And that'll do it. But Stanford adds two more in the bottom of the eighth inning. We're going to head to the ninth and see if Jack Little can get the close. Stanford leads it 5-1. Heading to the top of the ninth, last chance here for Oregon. It'll start off with Gabe Matthews, 0 for 1 on the day. And, Kevin, I just don't think this UConn-Notre Dame game is going to end.
Yeah, I know. You could take some side bets as to what ends first, Stanford-Oregon baseball or UConn-Notre Dame basketball.
First pitch in there for strike one. Crystal Dangerfield just hit a big-time three with, I believe, 14 seconds left. Ties the game up again here in overtime.
And Notre Dame has won this game like 3 times.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss. A little off-speed pitch. Count 0-2.
Good-looking stuff there from Jack.
Looks like Taylor Travis is in the on-deck circle. We'll have a pinch hitter. As Soderman has scuffled big time tonight, both at the plate and in the field. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
0-2. Fastball high and away. Ball 1.
Nice bounce back performance tonight for Stanford. Still 3 hours, 3 outs to get. Hopefully not 3 hours more to go. But hey, you lose. There's a nice
foul
strikeout.
tip for strike 3, and there's the first out in the 9th. Only 2 to go now for Oregon, and we will have a pinch hitter. Taylor Travis, number 46, comes in.
Stanford got blown out last night.
Taylor Travis, a senior. He's an outfielder from Springfield, Oregon. Some numbers for him on the year, 194 so far. He's brought in 4. And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, the Yukon Huskies now with a record on the season of 36-1.
Whoa.
Notre Dame gets it done. And they will head over to play Mississippi State on Sunday for the Women's National Championship.
Not a bad Easter Sunday, huh? Notre Dame, Mississippi State. A couple of programs that have really been great as of late. Looking forward to that matchup.
But I'll tell you what, hats off to everybody up here in the booth. I feel like there are a couple of eyes that were on this game as Travis misses on that bunt attempt. But a couple eyes on the game, and for the most part, everyone stayed calm.
Yeah.
But again, 2 years in a row now that UConn loses, in the final seconds in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Oregon crew had it on an iPad. And I'll say after this pitch.
1-2 inside.
The real MVP of the press box is the phone battery that you have going over there. Not to give away any state secrets over here, but the Phillies Braves game was on for like hours on your phone.
I know this. Ever since I got the 10, the battery life on has been wonderful. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down goes Travis. And Stanford is 1 out away from evening up this series. And it'll be number 23, Jacob Goldfarb. Jacob 0 for 3 on the day. 2 ground outs and a fly out.
Made a nice play in the field. That diving grab earlier on.
As that fastball is in there on the outside corner. Count 0-1. From the full, here's the pitch. Check swing, and he held up.
A couple of finals to give you. Washington State has taken the series from Arizona State, winning the first 2, taking tonight's contest 4-3. Another walk-off for them. Then Oregon State winning at Utah 9-5.
Of course, good battle there from Utah. They were leading a good bit of that game. The 1-1 swing and a miss. Strike 2. Another fastball by him.
Potential last strike of the game here.
1-2 count. Slow clap building here from the Stanford fans. A lot of them might be staying after here. I believe it's team autographs after this game. Got to imagine that after the performance for Chris Boobage, there's a good line for him. 1-2 as Loam bounces back to the backstop, and we will do 2-2.
Yeah, always fun for the kids to get some autographs.
Of course, with a lot of the rec league kids here today, hoping that one day they're the ones that are giving out that autograph. Here's the 2-2. Off speed.
Ooh.
And it did not get that corner call, and we're going to have a full count.
Good eye from Goldfarb. I did think that was just a touch high, maybe even a little bit outside.
The payoff pitch to Goldfarb. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That'll do it. And on a Friday night, everything down on the farm is all right now as Stanford evens up this weekend series with the Oregon Ducks, the score of 5-1. And Kevin, I think for this game, a lot of things we can look with. Of course, Chris Boobage had a great start after a shaky beginning to it, but also the bottom of the lineup today was absolutely wonderful.
It really was. We talked about the killer Bs, the killer BRs. Nick Bruiser, a 3-for-4 day. And then Bo Brandon had the first two RBIs of the day. He had a 3-for-3 day. So these guys doing a great job in the bottom of the order. Anytime you can get that kind of production, Bo Brandon 2-for-3 today with a 2 RBI. But anytime you can get that kind of production from the bottom of the order, you are doing something right. And really, Chris Boobage, hats off to him. I mean, 49 or so pitches through 2 innings. He went 118 pitches, season-long 7 1/3 outing out of him tonight with a season-high tying 9 strikeouts. Great stuff from Chris Boobage tonight.
And as we are about to sign off here, just a little forward of what will be going for the final game of this series. It'll probably be Eric Miller going for Stanford, 1-1, 3.72 ERA in the year, versus Colby Summers, 1-2 with a 3.66 ERA. And with that, that'll do it. I'm Jordan Watkins again with Kevin Dana. I hope you've enjoyed this another rendition of Stanford Baseball. Have a great night, and we look forward to having you on again with the next game of this series.
Baby, are you trying to change me? 'Cause I'm not like the fire in your eyes, light up like the sky. And I know that we've been out in the deep end. Something inside me is waiting for your love. Could it be I'm on my way? We are the ones, that's all it takes. Could it be I'm on my way? We are.
Here's Christian again, cuts it upfield, makes a man into the open field, making jaws drop.